Bree. Oh, my bad. My bad, y'all. My bad. I'm a little late. CP time. Welcome to Boxing Fans Talk TV. I'm your host, TDT. You can refer to me as Miss T. I'm sorry I'm late. I was trying to get here. Anywho, y'all already know what time it is. Anyway, we're going to talk about this wonderful weekend we just had in fights, among some other things. But first, let's turn to... What's up? Hey, y'all, first let me know if y'all can hear me. I got some new gear. I know these headphones be killing me. Let me know if y'all can hear this music. I see you in the building, WJ. What's up, King? Give folks a chance to pile in. I see my king over there, Ray New Salters. He said, Queen, what it do? Tell me if y'all hear this music. If y'all hear me, all right, put a thumbs up in the chat. Tay in the building was Poppy King. WJ said, yes, they did, Queen T. They gave us the best fight for the month of April. Indeed. I'm on board with that. Queen. Salute. Y'all come on in. Remember my show, even though the Queen be coming in this bitch on CP time sometimes. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I be coming in here on CP time sometimes. My show is 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday.
Y'all want a little bit of smoke tonight, y'all? Y'all want a little bit of smoke? Y'all want a little bit of smoke?
Can y'all hear me?
All right. Baby, don't tease me. Ooh, yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Baby, don't tease me.
I'm thinking y'all can't. Give me a thumbs up.
We got a lot of smoke. Y'all want some of the Congo King? You gotta turn them up, JR. Hey, Smoke.
Lifespeed is in the building. He said he hear me. You hear the music too. What's poppin', King? He said salute.
Man, please turn these Congos up, man.
Oh, what a great weekend. What a great weekend. That's how fight's supposed to go. That's what gets us hype as fans. When we can relate to the sacrifice that these fighters do and give in the ring and outside the ring. That's what hype us up as fans. Because we either tried that shit,
so easy, y'all.
either for a half a day, or we tried it for weeks and months, and we was like, this ain't the business. I can't do this shit. And then to see somebody get in the ring and do what they do when we know what they had to do to even get to that point, that's what hypes us up as fans. Them girls made us look crazy for asking for 3-minute rounds. I still advocate for it. I don't know about y'all, but I still advocate for it. But I will tell you, they made me look like an outlier. They did a lot with them 2 minutes because ain't nobody trying to see no rock'em sock'em. We want to see some talent. We want to see some strategy. We want to see you fight off the back foot, parry. We want to see you pull counter. We want to see you set traps. We want to see your IQ in the ring. We want to see ring generalship. We want to see all that. And we just felt that with 2 minutes, all that leave room for is rock'em sock'em. That's why a lot of the females ask for 3-minute rounds. But hell, after watching Serrano and Taylor and damn show Cruz and Cederos, to me, that was the best fight of the night. What y'all think? Let me hear y'all.
That's too slow, Smoke.
They said them girls were skilled to death. Indeed. Indubitably. Lifespeed said facts. Quality boxing. Yes. And guess what else? They sold out the MSG. Not nearly sold out. They sold it out. But I will say, if it was some men, talking about famous men, actors, famous boxers, retired and active, lined up in there like they do the men, that's going to propel the sport even further for the ladies. That's what needs to happen, y'all. I tried to explain that one time. It fell on deaf ears. Because they asked the question, why don't women support women boxing? It's a combination of a lot of things. Y'all let me know why y'all think women don't support women boxing, or women boxing is not supported and celebrated like men boxing. Y'all let me know. I kind of had an idea. Tay say, I hope people can get into women's boxing. Last weekend was amazing. I don't know what happened with the music. Let's check on it. Oh, it kind of went off. All right. I'm if you guys can't hear me, y'all let me know because I'm talking. Okay. So I would love to know the answer to that. I have my speculations as to why I think it isn't catapulted out there in the atmosphere like the men boxing. But, again, once again, I stated that before. and it kind of fell on deaf ears. But my speculation is, I'm going to tell you guys something about women. Okay, women, and I ain't saying that men don't do this either. Just talking about from a female point of view. Women will support men in their endeavors to the fullest, especially if they call them their man. They will support their sport. Like if it's football day, that's like a holiday in the house. Leave your daddy alone. We're going to make sure he got his beer in the fridge. He got whatever things he need to enjoy his game. That's his holiday. Leave him alone. He work hard. Women do that all the time, but that is not reciprocal all the time. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just saying it's not. When men come with that chauvinistic Cro-Magnon ways or whatever, even if you don't think you're doing it, women pick up on that. And from our perspective, whether it's true or not, women think that a man will leave you or get tired of you or get bored or want to trade you in if you too opposite of his Cro-Magnonness. A lot of women be living their life like that and be acting on shit like that. But if men were to be like, leave your mama alone, boxing is on, that's her holiday, let me make sure she got her wine cooler and whatever she need, I'm going to go ahead and do the homework and feed the children and put them to bed so she can have her boxing. If that was done the same way, in the same vein, I think women would get more rowdy about their sports that they like. As you see, women like sports, but they always try to align themselves up with men. And that's just how I see it. It's not an absolute what I'm saying, but it is how I see it. So you have to slow walk it. You have to pray and hope and just, keep doing what you're doing. And hopefully things will get better. Now, I'm going to say this. For women's boxing, it ain't many places you're going to go where you're going to have that big of a crowd and success. So now we know New York is the place to showcase women boxing. But the women got to get a convention going where they sit down and talk and say, hey, that Serrano and Taylor fight, that Franchon Cruz and Cedero's fight, let them two be the prototype of what we want to see in boxing, what men want to see in boxing. And yes, there's going to be men who don't like the sight of women beating each other down. But I would tell you, men out there, it's not the same as a man beating a woman down. Women can take it. Women can take a hit from another woman just like a man can take a hit from another man. And they'll live to see another day, and it's all good. They ain't gonna swell up and have broken bones and this, that, and the other like men could hitting a woman. It is not the same. It's a power range that we can deal with. But, the same thing in men boxing. Either you're a man who can take a punch and can deal with shit like that, or you can't. If you can't, you don't need to be in the sport. Same thing with women. You can take it or you can't. If you can't, you don't need to be in the sport. But it's not no more vulgar. Fighting in combat sports is just as natural as they come. All animals do it, especially us humans. President Jafar is in the building. What's poppin', King? He said, I wasn't a fan of women's because I don't like seeing women get beat up. But that fight was amazing. See? That's what I'm saying right there. I hear you, King. I hear you. Exactly. I'm not mad at you neither, because people like to see what they like to see. But I was hyped as hell because as I am a boxing fan, as I think most of you are, that shit was amazing. I don't want to see Rock'em Sock'em. Did y'all know historically when boxing was kind of, coming along as a sport, especially in the UK, because I think over there it was, coming along first over there before it got here like that. There's always been fighting wherever there was a gathering of people. Don't get me wrong. But they used to draw a line, a stretch line, and you stand there and you gave as much as you took, and whoever dropped first. What kind of fucking shit is that? Who wants to see boxing like that? I want to see strategy. I want to see you come in with a game plan and stick to it. I want to see you make adjustments. That's what I want to see. I want to see you dig deep. I want to see, did you do that road work? Did you go in that gym and work it out? That's what I want to see. I want to see the sacrifices you made when you was happy and everything was good when you outside the ring and ain't no pressure on you. Because when you get in that ring, I'm going to see everything you did between fights. And them girls showed it to us this weekend. Shout outs to Jake Paul and Eddie Hearn. And I guess, Jake, you got to run Eddie his $1 million because they made a bet on $1 million on that fight. They made a bet. President Shavaz said Serrano won that fight, in my opinion. In my opinion, too. In my opinion, she did. Tay said, I didn't watch much women's fight, but man, seeing them fight was amazing. Very high skill match. Indeed. President Jafar said I wasn't I thought I got that. You wrote it twice. Okay. Captain FullG is in the building. He said, I love watching women boxing. They scrap hard. You know what's funny? You guys like most men like to see women duke it out. It's funny to them, especially because they know some clothes about to be torn off and titties gonna be flying everywhere. Y'all like that shit. I remember growing up. Men love to be like, hey, let them girls fight. Tay said, why do people feel that way? Tay, you're of a younger generation. It's just old school tradition and culture. It was not a good thing to see women all sweating, believe it or not. There was a time when a woman just being sweaty was vulgar. So, I mean, women weren't too much into exercising and all that. We know now that exercising is for everybody, right? But there was a time you wouldn't catch a woman trying to do no exercise. Now, farm work and work you had to do, that wasn't considered exercise. But anytime you moving around, bending over, picking up stuff and stuff like that, that's exercise. But, that was acceptable, clean the house and this, that, and other. But actually, like, getting out there running with the purpose of trying to be conditioned or calisthenics, that wasn't what you wanted to see women do. There was a time in this country that was like that. And that's traditional, right? But we have since grown and elevated our minds to know that it's good for everybody. If it's good for your heart, it's good for our heart. You know what I'm saying? If it's good to exercise your muscles, then it's good to exercise ours. That go along with Tay when women had to play down their smartness. Well, the brain is a muscle. You know what I'm saying? If you don't exercise it, it'll wither away. And so will you. Now we know better. That's why I always say, when you know better, you do better, right? Tay said women versus women is just two humans fighting. Yeah. But again, the men to see it how they see it, I'm not faulting them and blaming them. That has to be something that they come around to. Even Muhammad Ali had to come around to that when his daughter Layla was in the ring. He didn't believe that she should be fighting. He thought it was for men. But that goes back to traditional ways in your culture, more so than actual practical making sense type shit. Why is there a difference? Yeah, I think I just covered that part. Tay said, but last night was really good. Yes, Saturday night was the bomb.com. Shout outs to Cruz. She put on a performance. I had her as the best fight of the night. I saw more grit and determination in her fight than mostly all the fights. But hell, Katie Taylor and Serrano was just as good. President Jafar said, I definitely want to see a rematch, but Eddie Hearn won't risk that again. If it goes to Ireland, and I think if it goes to Ireland, Serrano's going to lose because there's going to be some home cooking. There's going to be some home cooking in a way. But Katie makes it hard for you to say, oh, they just gifted her. When I looked at Katie Taylor, and I've never seen this woman fight before in my life, I was like, she was giving me Floyd Mayweather vibes. How about you guys? She was definitely giving me them vibes. President Chavez said Katie Taylor don't want no more of that. Serrano moved up 2 weight classes and still whooped her. Aha! I hear you, King. Salute to Franchon Cruz, undisputed queen. Ain't she though? Ain't she though? Franchon, come on through. Come on through. I'm gonna reach out to her and see if I get an interview with her. I don't know if I get it. I've tried to get interviews with a lot of people, y'all. I just don't get them. I ain't afraid to tell you. I don't get them, but that don't stop me from keep trying. When you don't succeed, you try again. But I was happy with this weekend. Top Rank did their thing. I will criticize any of them, but when I will praise them too when they deserve to be praised. Y'all look, my show is Monday through Friday, 7:30 p.m. That's 19:30 military time until we call it quits. I usually try to go about an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. When the train is moving, we don't try to stop it. But every day, Monday through Friday, I be on CP time sometimes. Sometimes it can be helped. Sometimes I just miss the mark. But I'll be here. Unless I'm sick or out of town or something like that. So that's when y'all can catch me. I don't know if YouTube fully straighten it out. I've seen a couple of times when I make my thumbnails that it says 7:30, just like I put it in the thumbnail when I created. But then most times it'll say 11:50 or something. Y'all disregard that. It's 7:30. And let me make sure I open my phone lines because I've been neglecting my phone lines for some reason. I've been neglecting them. So let me see. Let me open these phone lines because I guess some people would probably rather call. In the beginning, a lot of people were calling, right? But y'all that got comfortable, y'all see it's a safe place over here. No matter what you believe and what you feel, to come on through. So the phone lines are open. Let me test it. Yep, I hear the ring. Yo, you know what's crazy? I got this expensive ass mixer or sound card, and when it comes to my headphones, even if I plug it into the CP unit, it motherfucking be one speaker on. I don't get the shit. I ain't buying no more equipment. I just bought me some nice ass headsets. But anyway, y'all don't forget to like, share, and subscribe when you watch me on replay. Leave a comment so I know what y'all thinking, what you feel, or whatever. Go on and leave me a message or whatever, so I can glean where your head is at. And maybe I'm very open minded, but I am uniquely me. I believe what I do believe. But hit that like button. Lean on that leezy when you step into the heezy. Hit the like button when you step into the square circle, please. Just hit the like button. Stop reckless eyeballing. For all of y'all in Facebook, come on over to YouTube, get in the chat, or, just hit the like button. If you're going to watch me, just hit the like button. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying is, that's it, right? President Jafar said, yeah, you should get one with Cruz. That would be dope. Get one with Cruz. Oh, yeah. Because her name is CERN. I'm like, Cruz. Are we talking about Isaac? You talking about, you stuck on her name, Cruz, too. Yeah, I tried to go on and give it up. She married now. She said that's her married name, Mr. CERN. But she put on the show. So let's go down these cards. And look, I'm going to invite y'all in. Y'all can break it down if you want. I was thoroughly impressed. With that whole night. Everybody performed like they were supposed to perform. You can see everybody put the work in the gym. You can see the sacrifices that they must have made. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man. What can you say about the Shakur Stevens and the Valdez fight? I mean, I'm going to say no competition on Valdez part. He had no competition. He couldn't figure out. He couldn't figure it out. He could not figure out what to do. And crazy enough, I'm gonna say this, and they might not agree with some of you guys, but that's kind of not exactly how it's gonna look. Because I think Bud is a little bit more dangerous and a little bit more vicious. But that's pretty much what I be talking about when I'm talking about a more complete fighter fighting somebody who was just as gritty and dogmatic as ever. Because we saw with Valdez, I'm just gonna talk about Shakur Stevens and them fight. I was gonna save it for last, but I'm gonna jump right into it. We saw what Valdez did with Burchell. He put on a masterful performance with Burchell. I mean, the dude was awesome. Now, he couldn't replicate that with that guy, Kaseka or whatever, that he fought when we found out he was on the tee. They come to find out he couldn't really beat him in the amateurs, but that was just about boxing. That really don't have nothing to do with the professional side of the house. But he didn't have an answer for him there either. I think the guy Kaseka beat Oscar Valdez and beat him convincingly. But they gifted him, right? They gifted him. I mean, Christmas came early like a motherfucker for him that day. Maceo Golden was popping king. But when I talk about a more complete fighter, Shakur controlled the distance. He controlled he figured out timing. He pretty much had the proper stance. He outboxed him. There was so many mistakes. Don't get me wrong, Valdez is a dog, but he squares up sometimes when he's coming in for the kill. So Valdez is a live wire, but he couldn't perform. He couldn't get his rocks off, not with a complete boxer. So when we talk about Earl Spence and Bud Crawford, that is the prototype, if you will, of what we're talking about. When we talking about Bud is a more complete fighter, that's what I'm talking about. You know, because Valdez did the same thing he always do. And it works for him when he puts pressure on people, when he leaps and jump, and he probably got pop in his hand. But you got to get to the guy before any of that shit can work. And we all know a good jab would keep you at home and make you reset. Shakur was setting traps. Shakur was backing up. He was check hooking his ass all night. Shakur got hit too. You know what I'm saying? And maybe his punches weren't hard enough to do damage. He got hit a couple of times. And that's to say, I don't care who you are, Terrence Crawford included, you're going to get hit in a fight. You're going to get hit. It's what you do when you get hit. Do you cave and fall? Are you the type person that really don't like to get hit and you can't take it and shit? You know, it depends on how you react to some shit. You know what I'm saying? Apparently, Valdez didn't have the power to make Shakur back up. I think Valdez have great will. He's a true champion. Even though he's a cheat, he is a true champion. Because cheating don't dictate what type of style you fight or how you come after somebody or your fear. There's no pill you can take that's going to change that or negate that. You know what I'm saying? And so he was still uniquely him. He just ain't had no answer. Eddie didn't have no answer. Y'all can see the disgust or the disappointment in Eddie Reynoso's face at the end of that fight. And let me tell you, Oscar Valdez, he got a smooth ass voice. I don't care what none of y'all say. He got a smooth ass voice. I was just like, I just want to hear him talk. He got a smooth ass voice, y'all. Y'all hit that like button when you coming up in here. Lifespeed say that it's not every day you see a fighter that young that can put a masterclass on. Shakur make me feel like I'm watching my little cousin in there. That's a bad boy. Yes, he is. PGH Big Dog in the building. What's Poppy King? He says salute Queen T. Yeah, Shakur is a more complete fighter. A lot of people have said in the past that he's boring or whatever because he make his fighters look mediocre. Well, we know for a fact that Oscar Valdez ain't no chump. We know that he could get it in. I ain't gonna base it on. I've only seen him fight a handful of times. The motherfucker can fight. I think his last performance, I think it was the shame of it all, the guilt of it all, because you got to be mentally prepared and cleared when you step in that square circle. You have to be. And I think him getting the pat on the wrist or, them kind of like sweeping it under the rug, him getting caught in shit, I think that preoccupied his mind when he got in the fight with Kaseka, but they was going to give it to him anyway. He knew his star was diminished when shit like that happened. So he could have been not all the way mentally there. Just like with Floyd fought Maidana the first time. He was going through that shit with Miss Jackson, remember? Floyd, I felt at that time, wasn't mentally all the way there. You know what I'm saying? I just heard it get loud up in the speaker. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me or whatever. So yeah, just like I felt like Floyd was he was not all the way mentally there. That first fight with Maidana, that second fight he was. It can happen like that. PGA said Serrano was robbed, blind, pissed not only because I lost money. I feel you, King. Sound is good. Thank you. Shakur styled on Valdez. Oscar just another hype job, but Shakur is the goods. Yes, he is. Now, I see a lot of people, I watch a lot of people make their commentary about how he won, even Keyshawn. I mean, fuck it. This past Saturday, was the night for boxers. Boxers won that night because mostly everybody performed well. And you didn't get no feeling that, motherfuckers was cheating and shit. Now, they did, in my opinion, gave it to Katie Taylor. For some reason, I'm not all the way mad at him because she performed well, too. She gave me Floyd Mayweather vibes. How about y'all? What y'all think about that? That girl was on her toes. She could come in and strike at will. Pop, pop. The girl can box. She was looking good doing that shit. But Serrano was the aggressor. Serrano hurt her several times, even buckled her one time. She just didn't go down. That's what you talk about, grit and determination. She had to dig in deep. You know what I'm saying? Because Serrano certainly buckled her. I can't remember which round it was, but I saw the knee like it wanted to drop, but she caught herself. She was looking to shuffle from like 5, 6, 7. Like Serrano was putting it on her ass. Serrano was walking her down the whole time. I don't think one time that Katie hurt her or Serrano got a good ass poker face. You know what I'm saying? So I gave it to Serrano. Now I know people say it should be a tie at best. I could roll with that. But I personally gave it to Serrano. Now I would say this. Going overseas, Serrano, you might meet the same fate because Katie can fight. Katie gonna take this data, revamp it, and she might even get better. Katie can fight. But I had Serrano winning. I had her winning. And I don't want to hear that shit about, they give the benefit of the doubt to the champion because I read in some rule books a while back that is not a thing. They don't have to. You're supposed to just judge the fight for what you see. Now, back to this Shakur Stevens. Now, I put the link in the chat. Anybody want to come in and break it down? I'll sit back and listen. No problem. Because boxers won Saturday night because that's all I saw for the most part all night long. Shakur Stevens made Oscar Valdez look mediocre. When people say the narrative that The Black American style of fighting is hard to beat for anybody. That is not a racist statement, you guys. And I know people want to make hay of it. That's no more racist than Mexicans saying they're a warrior. And if they the stuff that they say to build them up and say that their shit is the best. It's no more difference. I can appreciate it when a Mexican feel that way about themselves, or Europeans feel that way about themselves. We cannot be made to feel guilty because we feel that way about ourselves. The Black American style, typical style of fighting. I'm not talking about Black American fighters who don't adhere to that style, because we have a lot of those too. I'm talking about the typical Black American style of fighting, that old school. It's hard to beat. And a lot of these fighters know it. That's why they don't want to make the fight. I still believe that Shakur got the hookup on the auspicious nature that Terrence is suing Bob. Because Bob was trying to clean up his act, trying to show himself in a different light. That's why he became the yes man for a lot of things lately. And I pointed them shits out in my video. Because Bob can't ill afford to go up in that courtroom. He don't want them to open the books. He don't want them to open the books, and that's what they will do. And if a jury is to decide, they're going to be looking at him sideways like, you are the nigga that they say you are. Guilty. You know what I'm saying? You did do that shit. Guilty. PGH Big Dog said, hell no. Katie was almost dropped numerous of times. I agree with you. Serrano won the punch count, more aggressive, and passed the eye test. 97-93 was made before the fight happened. Straight BS. Hey, PGH, Serrano won in my opinion. And yes, she buckled her. She buckled Katie. She hurt her too. There was times when that camera was in Katie's face. Katie looked disheveled, like she didn't know what she was, like she was barely gonna make it to the end of the round. You ain't never see Katie put that on Serrano. So yeah, I mean, but Katie fought well. It ain't one of them fights where I'm like, man, you got your ass washed. But the whole time, like you said, Serrano was aggressive. She moved forward. She set the pace. She was hitting her more effective. She had the more power shots. To me, Serrano won. That's just how I see it, yo. But I tell you this much, if they meet up again, that's a pay-per-view, right? And I would tell all the ladies, make New York your mecca for boxing. Who's ever listening, promoters who want to get in there with the women, because there's enough people in New York for your event to be a success. Don't try to go around and do it like the guys and all that stuff. Go to where it happens at. You know what I'm saying? Where people can appreciate and adore and spend their money in seeing you in an event. Lifespeed said, at PGH Big Dog, I had Serrano winning, but Taylor was such a dog. I think that's why nobody's really protesting the decision. I see that too, Lifespeed. She was. Katie can fight. Katie can fight now. Like I said, the way she would come in and strike, you know what it is too, y'all? Katie Taylor is probably the only one who's ever given Serrano a good competition match. Probably the only one. Everybody else folded under Serrano's pressure and power. Katie didn't. She had grit. She had dog in her. They both came in with a plan. They stuck to it. They showed they could make adjustments. They was strategizing. I'm telling you, y'all ain't never heard me say this. They made what I said about 3-minute rounds an outlier. I still advocate for 3-minute rounds. But I will say this to capitulate a little bit. I don't mind if the ladies get together in a convention of sorts and use Franchon Cruz and Sedero's fight and Katie Taylor and Serrano's fight as a prototype of what you need to show in your bouts if you want to make the big money, if you want to bring the people. This is the type of fights you gotta fight. You gotta be like that. You gotta utilize them 2 minutes. They showed that those 2 minutes can be utilized effectively in a way that's advantageous to their careers and the fans in general. That's what they gotta do. They got to do that. Rock'em sock'em is not the business. Stop that shit. All the ladies listening, if y'all are boxers, stop the rock'em sock'em. We don't want to see that shit. We don't even want to see it from men. That's why I advocate for 3 minutes, because I was like, hell, if you had 3 minutes, your motherfucking ass gonna strategize. You gonna take your time. You gonna set traps. You gonna do something. You gonna have a plan other than let me hit you, you hit me, and which one of us drop first. We don't want to see that shit. Y'all talking about women get more concussed quicker. Apparently they can if all you doing is headshots. But these ladies showed you something else. They showed you they could get it in good, just as good as the men. They can strategize. Okay. Lifespeed said Katie Taylor is a true dog, and there were times I was worried about Serrano in the later rounds. Yeah, Serrano, she made her gas out, but nobody does that to Serrano. And I think that's their justification for giving Katie the win. You know what I'm saying? Even in how the ref and listen, I'm not saying it in a negative way, but I know some people probably will take it that way. But even in how the referee will break them up, it was you ever see, like, when you're looking at the males box, they clinch, they break them up. Unless something serious is happening, he'll stare into one of their eyes, or he'll look, or he paused a little bit. But every time this ref came to break them up, it was always a slow, meticulous, like, let me look in your face and make sure y'all all right. And that might be his calculus, because he is who he is. He is a man of his generation, and maybe he feel differently. Nobody's trying to make you feel differently. But however, we got UFC fighters and MMA fighters and stuff who fight 5-minute rounds just like their counterparts, just like the men. And that's kicking in the head and stomping the head and shit. That's worse. That's more vulgar. So I'm not understanding the 3-minute rounds. And guess what? When they was commentating, so Clarissa Shields was there. Shout out to Clarissa, and she was commentating. Did y'all see how she cut off Tony Bello when he was coming with his Chrome Magnum bullshit? She cut his ass smooth the fuck off and was like, nah, like, you don't speak for us. I'm putting my stank on it. But basically, he tried to come in there with his rationale as to why it should be 2-minute rounds. She had to cut his ass off. Nigga, you don't speak for us. Let the ladies decide, man. Let the ladies decide. They're the ones who got to walk through that gauntlet. Let them decide whether or not they can take it. I can tell you how you can capitulate on this notion or idea. What you do is, okay, men typically can fight, when you're at the elite level, you're fighting 12 rounds. Well, ladies, let the elite level be 10 rounds, but let the regular run of the mill be 8 rounds, but make them 3 minutes. That's a capitulation. You ain't gonna go in there and shoot out your wide all in one step because you rocking and socking them. You gonna strategize. You gonna have to go to the body to slow this bitch down. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be check hooking and when she miss, make her pay. You gonna be doing all kinds of strategies rather than rock 'em sock 'em. I can't tell you how bad an average boxing fan, girl or guy, cannot stand that shit. It's not fun, y'all. I know y'all hear me. But the Zone did their thing. They put on a great card. Jake Paul and Eddie, they had a bet on that fight. I guess, Jake, you got to unass $1 million. That's a lot, but hey, you got it to give. Shit, I ain't mad at you. Jake, like I said, he did a lot for boxing. I have to give him credit. He's doing a lot for boxing. He might not be fighting a boxer per se, and I'm with the notion that he's not fighting boxers, real boxers. So it's hard for me to critique and judge him as a real boxer. I know he put in the work, but he's not fighting real boxers or active real boxers. So, and when that happens, it's kind of like how we say we don't know if they've been tested. It's the same thing. You saying you're a boxer, but you're not fighting real boxers. But you're getting in there. You know what I'm saying? You're not a real boxer. Your opponent's not a real boxer. So fair exchange is no robbery, right? But what you are doing is giving people a chance. And did y'all see Clarissa's tone change when she's talking about Jake Paul? Because remember, she was all kinds of hooting and hollering and whatever when it came to Jake Paul, but she simmered down and she put some respect on it. You know what I'm saying? Clarissa is learning. She's learning. You know what I'm saying? She understand where her bread is butter, and she understand who's for her and who not for her. You cannot even act like we don't see what Jake Paul has done for Amanda Serrano and even her opponents. Those are some of the highest paydays they will ever get. How the fuck you gonna devote yourself to boxing and then hold down a 9 to 5? How you do that? WNBA players, they work all year, then they play the WNBA. How you do that? If you paying these ladies, what they should get paid for the type of shit that they enduring, then they can devote their whole time to being the great and live out their dream. Maybe the shelf life of women's boxing is going to be different from men, because I would imagine some of these women will want children. But, technology being what it is, that is not even a barrier for women these days. And ain't nothing wrong with that. People have surrogate parents all the time. Don't make it a wrong thing. Don't make it a bad thing. These women could go through a process where they freeze their egg and have somebody to carry their children. Because I'm telling you, having children can mess that whole body work up. Even if you get it back in shape, babies take a lot out of you. Trust and believe me, you ain't never the same. And some women might not want to risk that. But this is another reason why some people just don't understand why on earth a woman will want to put herself through certain things like this to have this type of career, because it's not conducive to what we so-called are designed for. But technology being what it is, you can have both worlds in this situation. Not every situation, but you could have both worlds. So y'all hit that like button. I see y'all come in and come out. Hit the like button. Now, the conclusion of all that is they say they're going to run it back. Both ladies are on board with running it back. I like what Serrano said in the end. She was positive. She didn't shit on Taylor. She even mentioned that we as women, we shouldn't shit on each other. We should glorify it, because that's the only way y'all gonna uplift each other is to be in unison. I agree. And according to Jake and Eddie, they don't have a problem with running it back. Now, I know one of you guys say you don't think Eddie would, but I think he would. Because I think Taylor is that much of a dog that she don't care. She'll run it back. And no matter what happens going forward, you can't take that night away from her. And now, one thing they did was they sold out the infamous Madison Square Garden. Not the back rooms of Madison Square Garden, not the tea room, the Madison Square Garden. Not nearly sold out, sold out. That shit was amazing. And like I said, every woman who's putting on the fight, that's where the fuck y'all need to go until some other place in this country reveals itself to be a mecca for boxing, for female boxing. Y'all got to get collectively together and hash out a plan to grow it. Like they was talking about how Katie like they say like single-handedly, but I'm sure she wasn't the only one, kind of revamped how people thought about boxing in her own country, where it was null and void until she came along and brought light back to it. And then you got all these little girls who want to be a boxer because of her. That's a beautiful story. She won't out here being negative or anything like that. She was doing her. God gives you talents. You use them or lose them, but you can't fit into nobody's cookie cutter box of what they think you should be and how you should be or doing things. And like I said, I give Clarissa much praise for how she cut Tony Bello off the knees, and he knew it too. He knew it. She cut him smooth the fuck off. I call it nice, nasty. Wait a minute, nigga. You don't speak for us. That's how it sounded in my ear. But she said it with much more class. No. I still believe blah blah blah. Let me stop you right there. I still believe that it should be 3 minutes. He ain't had a leg to stand on. He ain't run that shit back. How dare you try to speak for the ladies? She as a lady boxer sitting right there. What do you know about it, Tony? You ain't no doctor. But yeah, I do believe Serrano won. I ain't mad at folks that said she might have had that should have been a tie. Like I said, she was the aggressor. She set the pace. She walked her down. She hit her more effectively. She had more power shots. She buckled her. She had her looking disheveled and like she didn't know where to go. She might have let off the gas a little bit, but I think she knew that she won. And it's just unfortunately they didn't see it the same way. She applied that pressure as only Serrano can do, because you know Serrano got that awesome ass pressure that a lot of people buckle under. But that's why I say shout outs to Katie Taylor, because Taylor won't go in for the shit. She won't go buckle. And if they go to Ireland, I don't know, Serrano, you might not win that one just because you're not in the States. And they love her so much over there, they might not let you walk away with that. But, good for both of them. They comported themselves well. They act like true ladies, true women, grown-ass women. And I'm just, oh, my God, I was so pleased with the zone Saturday night. You know what I'm saying? He said, I got Katie by robbery, Sir Antbo. I think a lot of us, that's the consensus, Sir Antbo. Let's talk about the who is next. Let me see who I'm talking about. Vargas and Liam Smith fight. What y'all think about that? What y'all think about that? I will put the link in the chat. I put it in already. Some of y'all probably ain't see it. What y'all think about the Vargas and the Smith? And let me tell you, I see a difference in Vargas having fell under the tutelage of Nonito Donaire. You know, he's an awesome ass boxer. Him and his wife, they know what they're doing over there. So I see the improvement. But Vargas, he was an okay fighter to me. I mean, I never put him up there like, oh, he's great, he's spectacular. But he's a good fighter. He's a good little fighter. But the thing was, Smith outmuscled him and let him know that shit from the jump. Do y'all see it the same way? He outmuscled his ass. You could tell. Smith wasn't worried about his power, none of that shit. And Vargas was tagging his ass up. In the beginning, Vargas was hitting him, tagging him, jabbing him, moving good, all that shit. But he couldn't keep it up. He couldn't maintain that. And partly he couldn't maintain it. I don't think he wasn't conditioned well. Maybe if he will have to go back to the drawing board and think. Maybe for his matches, he run 5 miles when he do his road work. Maybe he need to start doing 8. I don't know. But I ain't going to say he tired out or gassed out because he was just tired. He got tired because of them hits that Liam was giving him. And Liam was squared up a couple of times. Lifespeed laughing. Liam was squared up a couple of times going off on him. And he couldn't do nothing. Liam's hits affected him more than his hit affected Liam. Him hitting Liam could not be deterred. But Liam hitting him, Vargas had to take a step back and think about some shit. That languishing against the ropes, that wasn't a business for Vargas. He shouldn't have did that. And he tried. To his credit, he really tried. Sir Ampo said, I'm not sure how Vargas versus Smith headline after discern. Oh, yeah. I'm just speaking on that fight. In the end, he gassed out because he got out muscled and he was getting hurt with Liam Smith's punches. Also, the pressure of Liam Smith. He wasn't deterred. He didn't have hardcore pressure, but he had enough pressure where he kept coming for him. And Vargas was like, damn, he couldn't figure out a way to get at him. His punches wasn't affecting him in such a way that Liam wasn't stopping coming forward. He wasn't going to stop. He was just going to keep coming at him. He didn't have a deterrence for him. So that's what happened in that fight. But shout outs to them. They did what they could. The referee had to stop it. And rightly so, because Liam was about to, just really go ham on him. He could tell that Vargas has spent himself out. But the best fight on the DAZN card for me was Franchon Cruz and Ellen Cederos. Shout outs to both of those women. Let that be the prototype also. And what you can do with 2 minutes, ladies. That fight was so goddamn good. I mean, at first I thought, is 168 the highest women go? Because I'm going to tell y'all, women to me are different than men. Of course, goes without saying. But they different in the sense, sometimes a man can put on muscle weight, just gain a little bit more weight and it gives them an advantage. That's a disadvantage for a woman. It never works that way for us. The smaller and healthier we are, the more powerful, the more agile, the more fitting, the more abilities that we can muster when we're in shape versus when we got weight on us. Because weight is displaced differently on women, and it's kind of like a disadvantage. As you can see, Cruz discern, she's hippie, so if she adds more weight, it's gonna go right there. You know what I'm saying? Or it could be in your torso area, your breast area, which is going to be a disadvantage for a lady. So I don't know if that's the maximum weight. I wouldn't dare say there should be a limit because we don't do that for men. But in my head, if I'm thinking rational, that should be the equivalent of men's heavyweight. But there can be a woman that's 6'5" or 6'3" or just a bigger woman, but she don't necessarily be a fat woman or a heavyset woman. She could be just a bigger woman. And so you can't limit, you know what I'm saying? Because weight has a lot to do with displacement and height, you know what I'm saying? So if it's a taller woman and she just so happened to be close to 200 pounds, but she want to be a boxer, and we're saying, the biggest you can be is 168, that wouldn't be fair. But rationally and logically looking at it, I think 168, maybe 175 is how, the biggest. I think the categories for women, it should probably be the equivalent of heavyweight for women. Because the more weight a woman puts on, the less is going to diminish her advantages or leverages that she may or may not can muster in a fight. It's not good. It's actually from a weaker point of view, to have extra weight on you. They were in shape. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they were a bunch of chunky butts. They were just bigger than like people like Serrano and Katie, but they were in shape. Franchon put on a fucking, she put on the show. Now I would say Franchon has some awkwardness about her, some areas that a person who's more of a complete boxer than her could take advantage, like a straight right or straight left down the middle will cure all that shit. And look, Sedaros was doing that. She had a nice straight, a nice one. I know I can't be the only one that saw that. Pow, she had a nice straight, but it didn't phase the heavy hitter in Franchon Cruz discern. Franchon was like, fuck it, she was digging in deep, the grit and determination in this woman. You know what I'm saying? She was setting up shots, and Barry Hunter gave her some good advice, and she followed it almost to the letter, except that overhand right. She couldn't miss with that bitch. It was there to be took. So she took it. I ain't mad at her. But he was giving her some good advice and shit, and she was listening to him. You know what I'm saying? And she was going to the body. She was backing up. She was hitting her. She had that awkward, like, go down to the body and up to the top. She was piecing that girl up. The girl's face was a bloody mess. She was housing that man. And that girl was taller than her. Franchon put on a clinic. And she wasn't giving up. There's a couple of times where I can say that girl straight kind of rocked Franchon. But Franchon got a good poker face. She gathered herself together, comported herself well, made adjustments. She when she didn't want to back up, and she stood her ground and shit on a couple of times that Sedaros hurt her. Oh my God, that was just, I was loving every minute of it. The 2 minutes didn't even seem like 2 minutes. Am I the only one that felt that too? Because I was like, God damn. You know what I'm saying? Through the whole rounds. Franchon, I'm very happy for you. I would love to see you come on this show. And so we can pick your brain or whatever. But you did a hellified job. And you made women boxing look good. You did your thing. You did your thing, Miss Lady. We are all proud of you. And we proud of the opponents too. Like Sedaros, you did a good job too. Because you had a strategy, you had a plan. You won't just trying to rock 'em, sock 'em. I'm so proud that we didn't see that night. The rock 'em, sock 'em shit. I'm so proud. But let these two lady fights, be the prototype for all the women fighters on how you got to move going forward. Do all your fights in New York until someplace else show that they just as marketable. New York is a versatile state, city, or whatever. And, there's all kinds of people that would come out. Did you see the reaction to the ladies in the crowd? They was just as hyped. But I'm telling you guys, I didn't see. And I'm putting this out there for your favorite fighters, my favorite fighters. You know how these guys, they be having fights, and the other fighters, whether popular or not, active or not, retired or whatever, all the, like, Denzel's, Judge Mathis, motherfucking other celebrities, top-notch fighters, they be in the audience. They letting the world know, hey, this is where you need to be. This is the top ticket item. But they're not doing it with the women, and y'all need to start. Deontay, you need to be in the front rows. Errol Spence, Bud Crawford, you need to be in the front rows. But Bud was busy. He was at his other event. So I understand if you're at your event or you're busy doing something else. But y'all don't go to these women fights. Y'all don't sit there unless it's men fighting. And that has to change. That really has to change because women are spending thousands of dollars to come see you guys fight. And this should be puff puff give. I think that would go a long way in changing the hearts and minds of everybody, not just women, but men. Changing the hearts of men. In my Tupac voice. Franchon kept that jab and overhand right. She had fought at awkward angles. She varied her punches. She fought off the back foot. She felt well, and she fought well, and she dug in deep. And she listened to her corner, and her opponent fought well as well. You know what I'm saying? Excellent fight. What more can you ask for? We were thoroughly entertained. And that's 3 of the fights. I think I missed the first one that I heard that was pretty good too. I think I missed that one. Now let's go over to the top rank. Again, if you guys want to get in here and break it down, you guys can do that too. Don't let me take all the glory. You know what I'm saying? I like to hear what y'all think. So Top Rank did this thing too. And like I said, I would criticize Top Rank when they're wrong. But when they do a solid, I'm going to give them a solid. Now we know Nico Ali Walsh is going to get top billing because of who he is in relation to his grandfather. But he is not living up, I'm sorry, to his grandfather legacy. Not to me. And I don't say that in a bad way. I'm not saying he can never get there. I'm just saying right now, I don't dislike Nico. It ain't like I'm a fan favorite of his, but I don't dislike him either. But he's not living up to that. You know, I will say this. Every time I do see him fight, he shows improvement. And I mean, I guess that's a good thing you can say. He is showing improvement. But you 5 fights in now. So how many motherfucking times is we gonna keep seeing these 4 rounds? I can't give you no flowers, not with no fucking 4 rounds. Keyshawn Davis just came from the Olympics. I get it. You didn't do Olympics. Neither did Deontay. I mean, what Deontay did, but neither did he like all that preparation that they do leading up to the Olympics. Then they go to the Olympics. Deontay Wilder did his boxing career untraditionally. And he ain't the only one. A lot of people skip past the amateurs and went straight professional. When are you gonna fucking do more than 4 rounds? What the fuck can we glean with we knowing that you're gonna fight a 4 round? Because when you fight these 4 rounds, Nico, and I hope you listen because I like you, buddy. When you fight these 4 rounds, one thing that tells me, and I know I'm not the only one, is that you're going to get a hand-picked easy win to beat up on. That's what it tells me. That's what it tells me. It's a lot of people that come right into the professional ranks and don't do 4 rounds. Keyshawn Davis, I think his first one might have been less than what he did Saturday night. But I believe his bout was supposed to go to 8 rounds, right? Was it 8 or 6, y'all? Y'all help me out in the chat. Was it 8 or 6? And Keyshawn Davis just started. And he 21. What, you and him about the same age? Are you running the miles? Are you that conditioned? What's with the 4 rounds? Nico, I am glad to see that you got away from Sugar Hill because I don't like Sugar Hill. I think he'll cheat and he knowingly cheats. I can't trust him at all. There's something wrong with that man. I just can't trust him. He be in the ring with his shirt off and shit. I was going to say a joke, but I ain't gonna disrespect nobody on here. But I just can't trust Sugar Hill. I was gonna say he looked like, girls know what I'm about to say. He looked like he got I'm gonna leave it right there. And what my ladies said, they know what I was gonna say. He looked like he got what? In the what? I can't trust this man. But I'm glad you got away from him. Because what it looked like, Nico, is what it looked like. It looked like you're the grandson of Muhammad Ali, which y'all love to tell us, and that we supposed to surmise that what was in Muhammad Ali is in you automatically by virtue of the bloodline, but it's not, obviously, and that they grooming you to be a champion, and they gonna slow walk you. They gonna give some poor soul a championship that can't, that probably shouldn't have a championship, just so they can put you in there with them so you can be champion. That's what's going to happen. Or it's going to be a vacant belt and you're going to fight for it. And you and somebody else that they know you can beat is going to fight for it. And it's going to all look fucked up. You 5 fights in, 4-round fights. Stop the madness. Cut the shit, Nico. Dare to dream. You say boxing your thing, dare to dream. I mean, you're a big boy, shit. Ooh, like we said, sugar in the tank. I guess that's what you say. That's a good one, Lifespeed, but now there's something else in the tank. Y'all remember that famous Millie Jackson song? He just looked like he has a problem with that. Oh, some people, it's a couple of people out there that look like they got that problem. Some that women hate, boy, we hate it. When we see it, we be looking at y'all sideways like, what? I think I gave y'all too much. It's a lot of grown men and grown boys. If a boy can be grown, but you know what I mean, that got this problem. That what he look like. I'm sorry. Every time I see him and hear him, that's exactly what my mind go to. Like, ugh. You say you ain't hear me say shit. Don't he though? You know who else look like that? I'm sorry. It's just my opinion, man. It's just my opinion. God, your boy DJ. Not nobody on my panel. I'm talking about he a trainer. With the initials DJ. Oh my God. I be like, ooh. He look like it too. Super Bros X said, what you smoking on, Queen? I ain't smoking on that. That just, I'm being honest. Some people just put you in that mind. Like they just, y'all know what I'm talking about. They do. Something wrong with Sugar Hill though. Something wrong with him though. He think he Tyson Fury, but the fact that he went along with that debauchery or that cheating or whatever, that lying and shit, it's just sad. I don't think he lives up to his uncle reputation, and he should want to. I'm not saying Emmanuel Stewart was a saint, but he was somebody to be revered, and he was beyond reproach in his own right when it comes to boxing. And I think, Sugar Hill has not lived up to that. That's just my opinion. But Nico, your next fight gots to be for more than 4 rounds. If you come back with 4 rounds, nigga, please. I'm sorry, Nico. We gotta give it to you raw. You trying to fight, you doing more than the average person. Hell, you doing more than me. So I can't do nothing but respect that. You know what I'm saying? You getting in there, you daring to be, daring to dream. I gotta respect that. But you kind of going about it in the wrong way. You can't let them slow walk you too much for people start looking at you side eye now. You can't be running these 4-round. What you gonna have? 15 4-round fights? How the fuck anybody gonna take you seriously? You can't let these young motherfucking boys the same age as you come in here and fighting 8 rounds, 10 rounds off the rip. Keyshawn Davis, he fought 8 rounds. What the fuck wrong with you, Nico? Who do y'all know? And to prove the point, who do y'all know is a 4-round fighter that's great? I'll wait. In my E-Thriller voice, I will fucking wait. Who do y'all know? I don't know nobody. I can't name one. Not from the past, present, damn so from gleaning into the future. Who fights 4 rounds that you think is great and deserve big paydays and deserve a shot at the title? Who? We know time is of the essence, Nico. When it comes to boxing, you claiming you got the DNA all locked up and sealed up, you ready to go. Nigga, really dare to dream. Yeah, you knocked the guy out in the first round. That guy probably a 4-round fighter for a reason. We will stipulate, the boxing fans court will stipulate that you are the better 4-round fighter of them all. We'll go ahead and get that to you. So don't run that shit back. Because you really making yourself look crazy. I'm sorry. I got to give you constructive criticism. I like you. I like your packaging. Your branding could be nice. But you got to back that shit up, bro. And you not backing it up doing this. Bob Arum need to go on and let you feel the real. You need to. Take the gloves off, Bob. Take the training wheels off. Right now, you're not the goods. Unfortunate for you. Don't mean that you can't be. But you're not the goods, bro. No matter how many times you win, it's always going to look like bullshit. A hint to the wise should be sufficient. We're the boxing fans, and we're telling you, a lot of the fans, I'm not the only one that feel this way. You are improving, and that's the best thing we can say. Is wherever you are, stay with them, because you look a whole hell of a lot better in that one fight this past Saturday than you did in all your fights. So wherever the fuck you at, stay there. That was a good decision. That was a good move. Now, Nico, you got a lot of work to do, so I'm going to get off your ass, but I know you're going to be back in the next top rank fight. I'll give you that too, that you constantly be running it back. You ain't stuck on this, I'm going to fight once or twice. You ain't diva'd out yet, but I fear you're going to be a diva without earning it, and I will not put the cart before the horse when it come to your ass. Like I said, Michelle Rivera remind me more of your grandfather than you, and that's saying something. So, hey, get it together, nigga. Stop the bullshit. Keyshawn Davis, I don't even know his opponent's name, but he beat the fool out that dude. And he makes me think of Terrence Crawford-esque. Just a little bit. There's things he was doing that I was like, oh my goodness. Now, he's a more complete fighter than the fighter who was in front of him. But that guy had 20 fights, Nico. And they was going 8 rounds, Nico. And he got less fights than you, Nico. Talking about Keyshawn Davis. He broke him down. He was hurting him too. But I'm going to give you a little piece of advice, Keyshawn. When you got somebody in the ring that don't belong with you, you need to get them the fuck out. If you're going to imitate Bud or be Bud-esque in any kind of way, you need to get them the fuck up out of there. Because that's what Bud would do. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to bring the crowds to you. That's what's going to make your dream come true. All this, everything that you could want in your career, that's what's going to open them doors. You are a great fighter. Everybody can see that. You're a hella fighter. You got the tools already. You're a complete fighter already. But when you get in that ring and somebody ain't supposed to be there, get them out of there. Now, I saw somewhere on somebody thing that Rick Glasser, I don't be on Twitter like that. I don't even have a Twitter. I have an Instagram, but I don't have a Twitter. That he wrote something about Keyshawn's hair. I like your hair, young man. You know what I liked about it? That it's not wild. This notion that this generation been having for over a decade now of not combing their hair, y'all stop that madness. I have said something about what's his name, Antoine Russell, and you and anybody else that feel like y'all could even Blair the Flair. Comb that motherfucking shit, make it look uniform. You don't need people focusing on shit that don't matter, like your hair in a boxing ring. That shit ain't got nothing to do with the price of tea in China, and you don't need nobody's eyes to focus that way. Let me tell you, women, men, all our money is green and it's spent the same way. Women notice shit like that. We're more particular. You can lose fans. And some men can be petty enough. Most men be like, I don't be looking at shit like that. But some men do. It's an eyesore. But you braided it up. You must have heard somebody say something. You braided it up. And for our culture, I'm cool with it. You looked decent to me. You're a handsome young man. Make sure people see you that way. At all times, especially when you're on the stage. You know what I'm saying? It goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? And I was proud of you for doing something because I was worried about that. Certainly with Antoine, when he coming there, hey, that wild shit, I don't know who the fuck that shit impressed, but you're not just catering to people your age. You got people my age and older who are boxing fans who have been all their life before y'all was a twinkle in your daddy eye. We don't want to see that shit. We want to see well-groomed people, period. That goes for all the fighters. Y'all make enough money to comb your hair and do something with it. And Rick Glasser, he did exactly that. So you was wrong on that bullshit. I don't care if you are married to a black woman. You were wrong on that bullshit. He looked decent to me. You might not understand that style, but we understand it. You know what I'm saying? And yes, even though we're just a group of people that he can be catering to, he got to cater to other folks. Y'all got to come on board with that. Just like we got to come on board with y'all styles. That hair was done. It was combed. It was fixed. You like not liking braids or whatever, that's your problem. That ain't his problem. You looked it well, young man. Keyshawn, keep doing what you're doing. I was proud of you. I was really proud of you. You broke this dude down. You was fainting like a motherfucker, and you was fainting with your arms, throwing that dude off his rhythm. And then when you was doing that shit with your arms, I was like, man, Terrence do that shit. Making that nigga flinch and everything. You just throwing the arm down. Everything. You was damn near perfect. If one could be perfect. You was really rubbing up on that line. You heard him and all that stuff, but you got going for the kill. And I think Bomac was asking you for that, in so many words. But sometimes, it might be good that you got some rounds in, but I know you young. I know you be in that gym. I know you picking up great habits, like stay in shape all the time, go be in the gym all the time, vary your routines for when you're fighting and when you're not, never letting yourself slip and all this stuff. And, just honing in on your skills and stuff, all that. But, when you definitely in a fight with somebody, and he said the guy was a little competition, maybe he felt the dude's power or whatever, I don't know, but He bigged up the guy. I like how you answer questions. You're truthful, but you're respectful. I like everything about you, Keyshawn. So you doing well as far as I'm concerned. But don't run that shit back ever again where your hair is just loose. Don't do that. Because look at what Rick Glaser say. You know what I'm saying? Glasser or whatever he said. That's food for the fodder. You know what I'm saying? That's fuel on the fire. If he say that shit, others gonna pick up and run with it and all that, and that would be a legitimate reason why not to like you. Now, a lot of people are pitting him against Frank Warren, and it could be something to it that Frank Warren fights under the Derek James banner, and Keyshawn fights under the Bomac banner. It could be something to that with the Earl and Bud rivalry being what it is. But I think that would be a good match. That would be I think I would love to see it. I would love to see it. And I've seen them both fight, and I got Keyshawn. I just right now I got Keyshawn, but I like them both. I like them both, and I just got Keyshawn because I just think he can do more. I think he's more athletic. I think he's more skillful. I see that right now. But Frank Warren ain't no slouch neither. He ain't no slouch. So that would be very interesting to see. Maybe when Earl and Terrence get their match going, maybe Keyshawn could be on the undercard with Frank Warren. Maybe. So, and I've already spoke about Stevens and Valdez. All in all, boxing won Saturday night. Top Rank did their thing. Motherfucking The Zone did their thing. Ladies, if you figured out anything, New York City is where you need to be when you're putting on your matches. You got enough people there that's going to support what y'all trying to do and all that. To the men fighters, y'all need to be front row like y'all do in each other fights for these ladies. Come on out and support. Retired fighters, come on out and support. You ladies, get together. Show these two fights that just happened Saturday as a prototype of what boxing fans, men or women, want to see. They don't want to see Rock'em Sock'em. You're pushing people away with that shit. Until you get your way where it's 3-minute rounds, maybe the average female fight is 8 rounds, 3 minutes, but the elites be 10 rounds, 3 minutes. Y'all men, let the ladies decide that shit. Is there a funeral? Is there a glory? Let them decide. Nobody's saying that a man is hitting these women in these fights. Of course, if it was that, of course you're gonna have concussions and blackouts and damn near death and all that shit. It's risky no matter who you fighting. But these are women against women. They could take the punch just like any man could take a punch from another man. You don't need to cry for them. They telling you they want it. So y'all get the fuck out the way and let that shit happen. But that's a way to capitulate or have a compromise, meet in the middle. Make it like a regular thing for women to do 8 rounds. And only when you don't going for undisputed or elite, you do 10. Hey, don't never let it be 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Super Bros X, he said, I think it's Frank Martin. Oh, yeah, Frank Martin. What did I say? Frank Warren? Oh, I was thinking of Rashidi Warren. Thank you for correcting me, Super Bros X. Yeah, Frank Martin. That's who I meant. If that's, the one who fights with Derek James and them. Y'all don't forget to hit the like button and all that. But, when we always bring it back to Earl and Bud, here's another day, and we don't hear about a contract. Now, I know a lot of people will say it's Bud's job to do the contract. Y'all have heard me say on this show that I don't have a problem with saying Earl Spence is the big fish. That's what y'all want to call him. I don't have a problem with him being the A side at all. At all. He the A side. Y'all heard me say it. You want me to say it again? He the A side. Now, if he the A side, I just say he need to act like the A side because the A side presents the contract. The B side rebuttals or negotiates within what he finds in the contract. So if there is no contract, the holdup is with who? Y'all spend so much time trying to convince us that the Ugas and Earl fight was already. Like it was right away. It was already when it wasn't. But if we gonna go with that narrative, I'm gonna need Earl and them to keep the same energy. He called out Terrence. He said he want him. Send a contract, Earl. We waiting. What are we waiting for? You should have known this shit before you even had your fight with Ugas. What you looking for and what you need. I'm not saying discuss the contract out in the open. Y'all go behind closed doors with that. Y'all make y'all agreements. Hopefully it's something both of y'all can live with. But if the fight not happening, well, first it has to start with the contract, right? And that's not a stretch. It's not going to cost Errol Spence nothing he can't handle to put together a contract or at least terms. So he need to do that. Hey, Caps and FullG is in the building. What's poppin', King? What you got on it?
What's going on? I'm just listening to you and how you break down the fights and everything. Everything sounds solid. I'm enjoying the live and everything.
Thank you, thank you.
The last thing I heard you was talking about the contract. What's taking so long? Well, I don't know what's taking so long, but like I said, people are sleeping on this. Like Mayweather and Pacquiao, something's holding it up. Somebody ain't agreeing on something. And it's been 5 years. We've been waiting for this Spence and Crawford fight. So I'm feeling like, I know I sound like a broken record, but I feel like VADA and the world, what's it, the boxing doping or whatever they call the WBC and the clean boxing, it's going to be an issue with that. It's going to either Crawford going to want Spence to do the full 8 weeks prior to the fight, or Spence going to want Bud to go over there to the clean boxing program, which they don't do for full 8 weeks, and they test don't go to WADA. It goes to wherever the WBC and the clean boxing wants to take their specimens and test to. And I'm making this clear. A lot of people, they just going back about what Crawford and Spence is going back and saying and back and forth. But I'm saying, listen, if you put this on your platform and everybody in their channels that love Crawford, put it out now, because I keep saying Errol Spence. Now, this is just a suspicion. This is my opinion. It doesn't hold up in court. It doesn't hold up in anything. But I had looked at him when he was about to fight Manny Pacquiao. His head was big. His body was more skinnier than his body was much skinnier. He looked weight drained. He looked dehydrated. He was there. He was getting trained by Blu-ray, which I understand, but he looked like a total different person with the nutritionist. Now, I'm not claiming anything and not saying anything, but it's a total different look. And all I'm saying is, yes, clean boxing program, they could do blood tests and they could do urine tests maybe twice, maybe 3 times before the fight, maybe a week or 2 weeks before the fight. Sounds all dandy and everything, right? Then they could do a post-fight, but it's expensive. And the only way to get this done is go by VADA, do the 8 weeks prior to the fight, because you don't understand, when you go to training, you could take something for a half life, right? And you could get a good training camp. It could be Haldol. It could be a lot of different compounds, right? And you could get good training camps. But 8 weeks prior to the fight, a lot of people are sleeping on this. And I'm just looking at, how Mayweather, and I'm not saying who's right and wrong with Mayweather Pacquiao. So I don't want nobody, trying to say, I'm just saying, I'm seeing a repeat. How many times we waited for a fight that lasts that long? 5 years, 4 years. Come on. So I'm just attaching certain things to it. I mean, why are we not seeing the contract? Why is Errol Spence back in the training camp right away? There's a lot of whys, but a why is a letter with a long tail, and we just don't know. But
That's a good one.
it is what it is. But I'm just saying, if 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 there's an 8 weeks prior to the test and the test results go to WADA and WADA they test a certain amount of compounds that the clean boxing program don't, let's have this. And in my next video, I'm going to show you Donaire, Casimir. They're having problems with that situation. I'm also going to show you another Manny Pacquiao and what's his name, Margaret Goodman with VADA, and having a situation with the clean boxing program, and how they try to put him under the bus because she was saying, "Well, you know what? I'll leave it for the video. I'll leave it for the video." But I just made a narrative. See, Blue and Fanon, they just came out saying we shouldn't talk about this. There was a letter. So in my last video that I made, I'm knocking two narratives with one stone. I said that letter from Ryan Conley, a counselor, a lawyer, what does that have to do with anything? If it ain't for Margaret Goodman, stop using that. Because it's a lie. It's the truth, but it's a lie. Yeah, he did VADA. VADA administrated the test. That means they took the blood. That means they took the urine. But it doesn't mean it goes to the lab that it's supposed to go to. So this is going to be a big issue. And I feel like if all the channels jump on this now, well, we're going to see what's going on with the contract. Because let me give you an example. Manny Pacquiao, he did the clean boxing program. He did VADA with Adrian Broner. Then the same situation, they was complaining about he didn't do VADA with Keith Thurman. He did the clean boxing program. And a lot of people say, oh, he didn't do VADA. But what's the difference between now and Errol Spence and Crawford?
So I got a question. I don't want to interrupt.
Go ahead, Lifespeed.
Do you think going into the Spence Crawford fight that anybody is cheating or would cheat?
No, it's not really about the cheating because you leave an opening for cheating when it comes to the clean boxing program. When you with VADA and you do the full VADA and they send their labs to WADA, then we could say we can't wait until the fight's over and be like, man, things don't look right. You know, I think it was cheating. Because then you got a story and you got something to talk about in your video. We're trying to get this for Crawford before. So if every channel was preaching and teaching this, because that's the thing. Like I said, the lawyer that wrote that letter that Fanon said, this is the letter. We should stop talking about this, but it's just a letter. It's not the official website. It's not the official stamp of VADA. So VADA is contracted to work with the clean boxing program. But it's always stipulations that they're not going to reveal the test. They're not going to tell you what's going on because they're working on the co-promotion or co-contract with clean boxing program.
You think those complications would prevent the fight?
No, it won't prevent it, but it will prolong it into another year probably.
I think what Caps is saying is there's no thoroughness. There's some slippage in protocol. From is the one way they trying to paint the picture of how it's going to be or how it should be or how it goes, but they're not actually doing it. Like they're painting the picture like, hey, people, WBC is with the clean boxing program, so you know everybody over here is on the up and up. But every time you turn around, you see some fugaziness, right? You can see it with Canelo, with the clenbuterol. You see it with Valdez, with the phentermine. You know what I'm saying? So you want to tout that your whole organization is with some clean boxing shit, but is it really? And then when is the time to talk about it? After the fight? Because we know how hard it is to reverse decisions and reverse stuff. No matter, even if you do reverse it, the damage will be done. So I think he's saying with a fight of this magnitude, we have to be as thorough as we can, because you see the narratives about Bud being on snack. Them same people that say they have a problem with him being on snack or is voicing that never voiced it about Devin Haney, Andre, all these other folks that's been on snack. Now when Bud do it, it's a problem. And so a lot of people can say, what gives? If you don't have a problem with Devin doing it, and I don't have a problem with Devin. I don't have a problem with snack. I've said that the other day. I don't know if you caught my video. I think it was Friday, Caps. Well, I went into it. Like, if you went back and watched it.
I watched it. I went back and watched it.
And I watch all of your videos. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to Caps and FullG, because he dropping science right there. And whether you agree with it or not, it can be a problem, because it's not like on this magnitude some shit can't get missed. You know what I'm saying? Like, people ain't gonna try this or that. Nobody's saying that Errol Spence is cheating. Nobody's saying that Terrence Crawford is cheating. But what we saying is, let's squash it before it can be any kind of narrative. So when the fight happens, it happens. Whoever the better man is that night, it is what it is. And we just, hey, some of us gonna be happy, some of us gonna be sad. But it'll be what it is, and we'll move past it and be like, damn, I was right or I was wrong.
Exactly. And the thing with my last video, you'll see it with a picture of Fanon and a picture of Blue. They had some narratives. And I say, you know what? If I say something about Spence or Crawford, I said, let me use Manny Pacquiao. So I used Manny Pacquiao as an example. And I said, was Manny Pacquiao on VADA? And I said, no. And I said, yes. I said, kind of. But that doesn't mean he was on the full 8 week prior to the test. No, he did a couple, because I even showed him going there. He has a little flag. He showed his little cotton ball with his Band-Aid, and he said he did VADA. And I said, okay, wait a minute, I'm seeing it. But if it's under the clean boxing program, how is it going down? It's not going down like the official VADA say. If you go to the website, I even show people how to go to the website so you can see it. I try to do everything clear so no one think I'm playing tricks and games or I have a narrative. And that's why I never bring up Spence. I bring up the WBC clean boxing program and Maurice Suleiman and what he said. He said, we can't afford blood testing all the time. We can't afford all that. So if you can't afford all of that, for your free, exactly.
Why tout it like that's what you're doing? Why paint the picture to us boxing fans like that's what you're doing? So let me ask you this. Do you think a fight this magnitude, both of them millionaires, for me, it will do me proud to pay for Errol Spence VADA testing? Hell, I'll pay for it.
Well, this is the thing. I have made a clip in one of my videos and I'm not I'm not a Victor Conte fan, because he always pointed the finger of Manny Pacquiao. So before I even was with Errol Spence and Crawford, I built my channel on Manny Pacquiao, and I said, you always pointed to him, but Manny did VADA without the clean boxing program the correct way, and he did it with the clean boxing program not the correct way. So it's like, see, I'm telling you, there's no lie. Just like the lawyer saying, hey, Errol Spence, he's doing VADA. He's not lying, but he's not telling you the whole truth. He's saying that VADA administrates the blood. So they come and they get VADA, come in, take the urine, take the blood, right? And then they hand it over to the clean boxing program, and they do what they got to do with it. So it's not like a lie. It's half a lie.
Here's another question too. So I seen that letter, right? And I seen the blackout of it, which makes me think it's a personal letter. It has personal information. And to me, that's going above and beyond a little bit of HIPAA laws, because we don't need to see nothing personal, right?
Right.
WBC list that they put out is not really something personal. And these people knowingly go into it knowing that the WBC is going to put your name on the list if you taken the test and tested negative, but they won't put your name on the list if you're taking the test and had a positive return. They won't do that, because that's something that's violation of HIPAA. It's violation of HIPAA either way, even to put out that it's negative. But I guess it's okay when it's good news versus bad news or adverse news, right? So I'm just asking, so would it be is when you say that was a letter written by a lawyer, i.e. nobody who's in control or run the program of the clean boxing program. So what does that mean, you guys? You guys gonna have to draw your own conclusion. If my sister give me a letter and say, welcome to the clean boxing program, does that make it legit? And even if I get a letter showing that I'm a part of it, but I don't take the test, does that mean that I did it? Well, what tells me that I did it? That list that they come out with a couple of times a month, which I told you guys, Earl Spence wasn't on before the Ugas fight, and he has yet to appear on the list in the month of April. We're in May now. And that was what people was telling me. Wait till April. It's going to come out. Maybe he's in the next batch that's going to come out. I've looked. He's not.
Wow.
He has not made the list. Y'all got to ask yourself why. Ugas did.
So exactly, I gotta go to that clean boxing program. I've been trying to look for ever since you've been talking about it. I've been trying to go to that website, but their website is tricky. One minute I be looking for shit, and then I go back and it ain't there. I'm like, what the hell? It's a tricky website. The clean boxing program and the WBC is kind of tricky, yo. But okay,
well, what do y'all? Just a question. Do you feel like in this day and age, and this is only, and I'm only going to speak from a place of ignorance. I'm not even going to pretend like I'm, you know what I mean, like I got the knowledge on the subject. So it's really generally a question.
Mm-hmm.
I had kind of thought about, you know, you guys probably looked into it more than me, but I thought about like just what goes on nowadays with boxing, with, you know, things like clenbuterol and all these things, and I feel like it's rampant. Like it's just a lot of, it's just in this day and age, I feel like there's a lot of juicing going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of felt like I removed myself from the argument a little bit because I don't know, I think about like, do you think that the environment is like nowadays is for the fighter to look out for themselves? Like, because even, I mean, Shakur Stevenson was on stage and I mean, it had me cracking up a little bit because he's like, just make sure you don't cheat though. Just make sure you ain't cheating, when he was talking to Valdez. And then I remember, you know, Mayweather also was a fighter that he's someone I specifically think of when it came to cheating. He was about his business before he stepped in that ring. Like he personally made sure, like, you're not cheating when you go against me. You're not playing me.
Right.
Do you think it's like it's moved into the realm where now it's up to the fighter?
Well, okay, this is the thing. In my last video, I put a lot of stuff down with another dude talking about how, you know, you got a budget. You know, boxing program got a budget where they got to give VADA a certain amount of money so they could administrate the test. Not take it to the lab, but just administrate the test, right? So they have a budget and all that. So I went through all that on that video, but you know, you're right. It's up to the boxer, but it's also up to the fans. Once you see the thing about this blood thing, this urine and this drug testing is very confusing. When you hear this clean boxing program is VADA, and then you see VADA over here by itself, but you got a clean boxing program and it's using VADA. Yeah, you're using it, but you're not getting the results that VADA gets from WADA, because that's the only place that VADA sends its testing to WADA, WADA, World Anti-Doping Association. Now, they could send it to the clean. They could send clean boxing program. Could send it to the New York's Nevada State Athletic Commission, or you know, wherever they want to do their labs. But just because VADA administrated doesn't mean that VADA did the full test, and so you're getting a half truth. And I'm going to give you an example on my next video, where Victor Conte, right? I'm not a big fan of him, but Victor Conte told Mikey Garcia, you better do the full VADA when you fight Errol Spence. And look at the outcome of that fight. Errol Spence was out for 15 months, and he comes back and get a stoppage. And he doesn't look the same when he was supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao, and he looks different. He looks fuller. Yeah, we could say he's a nutritionist. Yeah, that's cool and everything. But you in your 30s, Bruce Ennis is in his 20s. I just saw an interview about him, and he said the same thing I said. When you're in your 20s, it's easy to make weight. Easy. But when you're in your 30s, 31, 32, your metabolism slows down, and shit start creeping up on you, your hormones, all that stuff start creeping up. It's very hard. This man been busting through the seams trying to make weight. He had to get a nutritionist. So it's a lot going on. We don't know what's going on in that 8-week training camp. Yeah, he could be having a nutritionist, but also it could be some other stuff. I don't want to assume anything. I just want the test for both of them. So this is the thing that Victor Conte said, that I had a clip of my video, and he said, "Oh, I'm the only one that that sponsors VADA, and I pay for the boxers. So I was like, hold up, you pay for the boxers VADA test if they want to do it? So that kind of reminded me when Victor Conte told Mikey Garcia, do the full 8 weeks, not the clean boxing program. So I'm trying to put one and one together, and I got a couple of video clips, but I'm trying to say, do Victor Conte can pay for both fighters or just the fighter that's sponsored?
Well, I'm thinking that it's not that much to ask with all the money Mauricio Suleiman getting. I understand that over the course of time, over the course of a year, he gonna be paying out money just like he getting people to pay him. I mean, I've talked about this, others have, like how the sanctioning bodies be making their money and they make it hand over fist. And you're not supposed to be a profit. You're supposed to put it back into the business. You're not supposed to make a profit even if you work for that particular sanctioning body. The money that they bring in is not geared to make somebody rich. That's why you're getting those tax breaks and all that stuff. You're supposed to put that money back in. What a way to put it back in than to have VADA on your payroll or VADA or whoever, and don't, put it on the fighters. But I would tell any fighter, and when I said that maybe Buzz should pay for Earl could pay for Buzz. I didn't mean to make it sound one-sided, but hell, if I'm fighting you and I'm worried, you know what I'm saying? Even if I'm worried just a bit, it's worth the couple of thousand or whatever it is to make you, go ahead and get the test done during the training camp. Because like you said, the guy broke it down in your videos that these tests have a half a shelf life. And every time a couple of weeks go by, it diminishes and diminishes in your system. And the difference is how they check isotopes with VADA, which is a more thorough way of doing it, versus how they do it with other people tests with urine and shit. And if you go back and look at the Caleb Plant and Canelo fight, Canelo had every intentions of fighting Caleb Plant, but it does look like he was trying to cycle off, because once you announce the fight and the A side gets to announce it, then the shit starts. Then you can expect VADA to show up to you and all that, but not a day before. So if you're waiting till the last minute to announce the fight, you're basically cycling off. You leave that in the minds of the people, and people can feel a certain kind of way. Now, this time around, Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson was all over VADA because they made the list twice. They made both lists. And guess what? Oscar didn't have his tea. He couldn't have his tea. So look at how he performed without his tea.
And I saw Shakur Stevenson on the official VADA site, not the Clean Boxing Pro. I saw him on the official VADA site. So I'm like, okay. So I like I said, the sponsoring, that you sponsor Snack, and then next thing you know, I'm going to show that clip again in my last video with this, but it's going to show that him say, yeah, well, you sponsor my Snack, I'll pay for your VADA test. So then I was wondering, I was like, wait a minute, can you pay for just Crawford or you could pay for Crawford and Spence? Because I remember there's a thing where he was telling Mikey Garcia, don't trust it, do the full eight weeks prior to the fight. So then I'm like, okay, well, if that's the case, are y'all paying for Errol Spence? Because I'm just wondering, can Snack pay for that for the Errol Spence also? Because this is the request from Crawford.
So Lifespeed, let me ask you this: what do you think about a person who abused their body throughout their 20s? What do you think about it taking a toll, just realistically, in their 30s?
Well, I guess, what do you mean? Yeah. Like, yeah, in reference to what, though?
In reference in general. If I'm a drinker, and sure enough, like I used to be a cigarette smoker, right?
Yeah.
And they would tell me, they said, girl, if you just quit, you're going to improve your life 50%. And I was like, 50% just by me quitting right now. And they was like, yeah, but does it negate what I did in my 20s? It doesn't negate it.
Not at all.
The damage is done.
Not at all.
Whether I feel it or not, I'm going to feel it as I get older.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's
So
all
I'll
I
say
say.
this. Okay. So now I get more of the context of your question. Yeah.
Mhm.
First, I ain't no spring chicken. I'm 42 years old. You
Right.
know, and I got a daughter, and I tell her that, like, you know, your youth is not forever. And I know Miss T, you talk about health loss. I know you probably know this. Your body only has but a certain count. Like, everything you do counts and adds up against it. You don't really get anything back. It doesn't mean you can't be at the peak performance for where your body is now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, no. So I think about that all the time. I think about man, everything that Spence had to go through, not even had to go through it. Some of it, you know, based on some of whatever his choices were, just lifestyle. Maybe not being as focused on the ring or trying to do two things at once.
It-
And then going through the accident. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I give him kudos and respect for all the work and stuff that he had to do to counteract that. So it's not to take anything away from it, but yeah, nowadays with everything, you know, science is advanced and all that stuff, sometimes I question what people got to do, you know?
Right.
And that's
So,
so I respect y'all, you know, even having the conversation, because you know, usually I just grab my popcorn when it comes to that, because it's like, you know what I mean? It's important. But it's also one of those elephant in the room kind of conversations. You know what I mean? Like,
Because you don't want to come off sounding like you're placing blame at this person or that person, but facts is facts, y'all. I didn't even glean that about the letter. I didn't post the letter because it seemed personal. And I'm going to try my best not to cross any kind of lines legally or unethically, you know. And to me, it would be unethical for me to post somebody's personal letter. Now, if they put it out, then all bets are off. I don't know that Earl put that letter out. Like you said, it had a lawyer on it or something. A
no,
lawyer, last time I checked, is not a scientist. And a lawyer, last time I checked, do not administer tests. So when the letter with the letter heading and all that, and I know all about letter heading and making shit official. You know, I did 20 years in the military, I tell y'all. And like everything that I have, when I want to get a benefit, they be like, oh, go get that letter that you get off your e-benefits. And I be like, damn, I ain't even think to print it out. But it got letterhead on it, and it's telling exactly what is. So they can't say T made up shit. It ain't come from T. It ain't come from T's friend. It ain't come from T's lawyer. This came from Big Navy. Big Navy said T has this, that, and the other. So you can't refute that. So basically, what you saying, the rebuttal is right there in the letter that they putting out with the blackouts. That ain't helping nobody when you got those things blacked out, because you're missing some vital information in the blackouts. So why put out a personal letter that says welcome to VADA and it's not coming from VADA?
right. And the thing is, on my video, I show a picture of Ryan Conley, the lawyer, that said all this in the letter. I showed you the official VADA website. I showed you the picture of Ryan Conley, the chief counselor lawyer. And this is what Fanon is saying, that he put the letter out saying that Errol Spence is on VADA. But the lawyer didn't lie. He is. But when you're in the clean boxing program, it's two different things. The clean boxing program, they use VADA to administrate. In other words, draw the blood, blah, blah, blah. But they don't let VADA do anything else with that stuff. They take it from their clean boxing program and they do what they got to do with it. They're not saying, here, take it to VADA for us. No, 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 no. It don't work that way. Because
Well, it's okay
it only
to
works that way if you do the 8 weeks prior, the authenticity of a VADA, and then VADA takes it themselves. And let me tell you something what VADA does. They don't just check once. They could check twice in the day. They could check twice in the day. Okay. And I'll prove that on my video too, that's what they do. They could test twice in a day. So
but with this fight being this magnitude and this controversial,
that's what I'm saying.
all I's need to be dotted and all T's need to be crossed, because what we don't want to do, if Errol Spence beats Bud, you want to give him full due credit. You don't want to say but. And if Bud beats him, you don't want to say but. And you know, they already making hay out about the fact that he's on snack.
Oh,
Man, I
I
don't
will
know
play.
shit
I will
about
play
Spence.
big. Can I do this? Can I play big devil's advocate?
Sure, sure.
I'm gonna be mad in a year if this if this fight has not happened. You know what I mean? At this point, I'll be so salty. Cause you know what I feel like? I feel like this. I heard Teddy Atlas say on an interview, and this is not. I don't usually like to name drop because I don't want to, co-sign or undermine anybody. But at the end of the day, so I was listening to Teddy Atlas, and he was talking about the Anthony Joshua fight and Deontay Wilder, and because I think this is his point. We're just saying how much they lost. Like there was like how not making that fight at that right time, how much you lost. And he was saying that it was good. And also the other thing, I think that's what he said. And then also that it was good that Spence and Crawford built up this much time. Those things I really can't be mad at. Would the fight be as big as it is right now if we wasn't waiting on it for all this time? No, it wouldn't. So I'm not mad at that, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also lose with all that. Like
Right.
in prime example of that is in the meantime with all this waiting and clearing out sides of the fences and trying to make the perfect fight, Spence got in a car accident. That could have been the fight right there.
Exactly. You're right, bro.
So me, like, I ain't gonna lie. Even though I respect the politics, I'm gonna be so mad in a year if they don't fight. And then at that point, because I don't like to be on the fence too long, I'm gonna drop out. Like if I never see that fight, then I never see that fight. I won't even. I'm gonna be off that.
Well, it's two things that's going to piss me off. Is if this goes next year, because I think Crawford turns 36 in September. By then I'm like, all right, you know what, y'all trying to age him out. Y'all could have done it this year. And then the other thing is, if I don't see the eight weeks prior, I'm still picking Bud, but I'm be going looking at that fight like, okay, all right now, because I just want an even playing field. I'm not gonna say he looks suspect and this one looks suspect. I'm just saying if it's an even playing field out there to put my feet on, then why can't they get it? Especially at this level, why can't they get it?
Well, then what about this? There was a and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I actually think so. When Deontay Wilder was fighting Ortiz, I think there was the question with the juicing, but I think. And I know there's been fighters that I've heard say this, but I don't want to misquote anybody. I think Deontay at some point was okay. Like or had a quote where he said, like, even if they are juicing, I'm gonna beat them or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
And so it kind of still bringing back. Isn't it up to the fighter in this day and age with there's a lot of things going on to kind of just. As a fan, I mean, I do want a fair fight, and for me, especially what Miss T was saying earlier about like maybe not on this show, but before in terms of hormones and all these supplements and all these things that people's putting inside it, they don't even know what it's really doing in the long run. So even me being a fan of boxing, I'm a favor of somebody having a healthy life afterwards. Like it's not all about boxing. You know what I mean? Like you got to live life too.
Right. I think I remember that with Wilder. And he said that about Tease. You're right about that. But then I also seen Wilder talk about I'll pay for the drug test. I think for Tyson Fury. So I also saw Wilder on the official Vada website, but that was when his hair was really low, really low. Like he had like a buzz cut. He didn't have no dreads or nothing. So he was on the official Vada. So I don't know, but I know Tyson Fury and Wilder they did the Vada official Vada drug test. But
and Tyson Fury and Dillian White did it this past time in March 3
right,
times.
right. So it's up to the fighter. It's up to the fighter. But when you have somebody that could sponsor you and talk that stuff like Conte talking about, well, if you sponsor my product, I could pay for your VADA test. Well, hey, give me the real VADA test. I don't want the clean boxing program VADA test. I'm not taking Victor Conte's side, but if it's one scratching my back and you scratching mine, I don't have to pay for the damn thing. Hey, can you pay for Spence too? Because I'm gonna look for it. But there was something where a man asked him, would you do VADA test and would you pay for that? And Errol Spence said, I ain't paying for that shit. So I'm not gonna say anything, but when I get that clip, it's gonna be gold. It's gonna be platinum. Because if this shit do come up, that's gonna sound like, listen, You're not really paying for VADA. You're paying for the clean boxing program to administrate VADA, and that's it. You're not really paying for the official VADA program the whole 8 weeks. So
You paying for, at this point with this fight magnitude, you paying for your legacy. You paying for the fact that people, you leaving nothing to doubt. You leaving nothing nobody can say. You shutting everybody down before they can even create a narrative. And I just looked up their ages. Terrence Crawford will be 35 this year. Errol Spence just turned 32. So yeah, in a sense, I do be feeling like sometimes they try to age him out. But let me tell you, you can't age somebody out that didn't take punishment. And so, like Mayweather. Mayweather lasted as long as he did because he didn't take punishment like most other fighters. And you could take punishment. You could just be a smoker. You're going to take punishment in your body, when you get in your 30s because everything changed. You know what I'm saying?
That's the same thing when we playing football or basketball and you got a bad knee and the weather change on you. And next thing you know, I know when the weather's going to be rainy and sunny because, you hurt yourself. And when you get older, you still feel that pain, that gory pain. So you're right. You're right about that. So
you think you heal. And then when I posed that question the other day, when I said, looking at your list, the the one that caught me the most or the one that gave me pause is that people will actually on purpose fuck with their hormones. Because I could tell y'all just living it, I know what it does to you. And so I can look at some of the fighters and I refuse to say them because I'm going to hurt some people's feelings. But I know what I see when I see it. It's like I can't take away from their experience.
Yeah, that's why I feel like I'm a in regards to boxing, I'm about even in the playing field. Like of course, my idea would be no cheating, whatever. But it's really about even in the playing field. But then at the end of the day, like putting all that stuff in your body, you don't even know what it's going to do. I ain't never really been a fan of that.
It's going to hurt you in the long run, and there's telltale signs. Now, to a person who's never had experience in this, they're going to miss it. It's going to fly right over your head. My neck was huge as hell, and I was doing my hair every day. You know how particular we are. As girls, I'm in the mirror doing my hair, getting ready for the club, about to put on my cat suit and shake my tail feather, and I ain't seeing no big ass neck bulging out in like in a big circle and going across my neck. I didn't even notice it. I went to get my wisdom teeth pulled, and the dentist put the stuff in and knocked me out. And I woke up and be like, oh, this is what everybody talking about. This won't shit. And my friend was all up in my face, my ride. And I was like, what the fuck is you looking at? She's like, girl, I never even noticed that. And when they told me about it, I never really looked at my neck, but I went back and watched my pictures that I took around that time. My neck was hella big. Now, how the fuck did I not see that?
Right.
I'm saying, but now that I went through it, I got the pictures to prove it. I was like, damn, okay, I see it on people, and people just don't fucking know. But I ain't gonna say nothing, because again, it's gonna come off like me hating, and I don't want to come off hating. But you the motherfucker that's gonna pay for that shit when you fucking with your hormones. ATL's in the building. What's poppin', King? What you got on?
What's poppin', bro?
What's going on, Queen?
Nothing much. You been hard working?
What up there, everybody?
What's good, bro?
Hey, peace, bro.
Man, cooler.
But when you talking about that thyroid, say again?
I said, what's been going on? What we talking about?
Oh, we was just talking about. Well, we were talking about what Lady T was talking about her thyroid. But you're right about that thyroid because those guys when they have a training camp, they could use T3. That's active. They can use that if you got a fat camp. And if you ain't got nobody testing you in an 8-week period prior to the fight, we got issues. I'm just saying. If you got problems with getting your weight down, there's things that you could do where it can help you get your weight down. And T3 and T4 is a hormone, not just estrogen and testosterone. I heard the other lady the other day talking about that. She was making me cracked up because I think she said there was no estrogen in men, and that's men always convert their testosterone into estrogen. That's why you see some men they don't know how to filter that properly, and they have man boobs, or they sensitive and they can't filter it out a certain way, their hormones. So that's why every man on this world converts to testosterone to estrogen in their body. So, it's a lot to go through. But all I'm saying, I want 8 weeks prior to this fight, testing blood and urine. I don't care about that clean boxing program. I ain't hearing that talking about they use VADA. Yeah, they use it to pull the blood and take the urine, but it goes to another lab. It doesn't go to water lab. VADA does water. That's it. Clean boxing program.
Then the integrity is lost.
Yeah.
The integrity is lost on that. And that don't need to be the case. We talking about Earl and Bud ATL, like what don't need to happen. To leave no doubt. We want when this fight to happen that we give it up to whoever, without nothing extra being said. If Earl win, I'm gonna come on and let you cook. I know you gonna roast ATL.
Oh yeah, you already know.
And I'm gonna let anybody roast. Anybody is welcome to come in and roast or whatever. I'm gonna sit here and take it. I'm gonna have my big girl drawers on, and I'm gonna be like, all right.
I'm still looking for Buddy for that 50 from the other Bud fan. You know what I'm saying? I'm still looking for him.
I gave him your cash out. He was looking for you, but I'll let him know again. Don't worry about it. He ain't ducking you.
But we know, hey, that time has come. I don't want to hear it no more. Like, come on. I want to hear it.
So pay me in nickels.
I got a question.
I ain't talking about that. I'm talking about they need to go on and sign this contract. That's
so what you think that's holding up the contract? Honestly,
they mouth.
No. Then okay, let me speak on this. So y'all saw the back and forth Twitter going on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what? I don't got a problem because I always say if you in that division, you can talk your shit and swallow spit. Cool. I don't got a problem.
Fuck Twitter. You signing shit on Twitter. Sign the dotted line.
But listen.
Both of them.
Derek James, both of them. I don't mind that they doing what they doing. I ain't gonna even trip on it.
Now, if you promote the fight, let us know.
But look, Derek James have come out and said some derogatory stuff about Bud. If you want to if you want to be if you want to be sensitive about it, because you can be sensitive when Derek James break down Bud and what he think he can't do or what he can't overcome with Spence. I don't take that personal, and I don't think nobody should take it personal. But what I will say, ATL, hold on. What I will say is I never seen a response to what Derek James had to say about Bud. Now, as soon as Bomac do the same thing, Earl had a response. Now, what you say to that? To
Earl
Bomac.
had a response to Bomac that he trashed. That's what you talking about?
He had a derogatory slate of words.
Yeah, about his boxing record, right?
Yeah, he just talked about him negatively.
Did you see his boxing record?
What that got to do with the price of tea in China?
Was his boxing record trash?
But what that got to do with
or no?
The price of tea? But I ain't saying yes or no. I mean, yes.
Why you can't answer the question?
But it won't good. But what does that have to do? Now you answer that. What does that have to do?
No, you still didn't fully answer my question.
I did. He did not have a
was he trash or not?
He did not have a favorable boxing record. That means
trash or not?
I'm not gonna say trash because I'm not gonna talk derogatory about him.
What was his record, Miss T?
His record was not favorable. It was a lot of losses. Okay, I'm just not saying it the way you saying it. Or the way what you call him said it, but I'm still saying it's not favorable. But Derek James have said things that were not favorable about Bud's record or what Bud could do, and then some of them straight out lies. You never once.
Well, I'm gonna say it.
Let me get it out. You never once heard Bud respond to Derek James in no kind of way.
No,
you didn't. But those trainers have a right to break down their future opponent. If Derek James want to say Bud ain't gonna be able to handle Spence because Spence gonna do this and Bud can't do this or do that, I didn't see the problem with that. And Bud didn't respond. Not to Derek. He didn't pull up his boxing record.
I think they all should say that actually. I like all of it.
Hey, look, my brother, answer this question right. Was Bomac record trash or not?
Oh my God. Yeah, he asking y'all guys.
Oh, it was trash.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, but it wouldn't really mean anything. It's trash talk. I like it.
I'm not talking about Bud in no kind of way. Just like I tell Miss T all the time, I fuck with Bud and Earl Spence, but she know I'm an Earl Spence fan. But Bomac record was trash.
Now, how was Derek J's record? Now, how was Derek?
I don't know. Ain't nobody put that out yet.
That's my point.
You
Bud
got some proof. You got some evidence for me,
Bud, no. I wouldn't think that Bud should have came back and say, "Well, look,
I ain't say nothing about Bud."
But Earl did that with Bomac. Is what I'm trying.
I'm talking to you.
But hey. you know what the deal is with the trash record? Mm-hmm. Him and Bernie been with Crawford for the longest, and that man, they've been advising him, and that man went to zero. He ain't got no losses or nothing.
Yeah, Crawford is not trash. Crawford is not trash, but he getting trained by somebody that was. But that's some shit that I guess that's just part of life that ain't nobody gonna ever be able to figure out, because how you trash, but you train somebody else not to be trash. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's kind of like there's some people that can see it from the outside and give you a perspective of a boxer in the inside.
I accept that.
Okay.
And what I'm trying to point out is when Derek makes his assessment of Bud, the proper response is not to go at Derek. Derek has a right to break down what he think Bud could do or not do when he faced his fighter. Bud did not, come back with nothing with Derek. He could have brought up his record. He could have said whatever, but he didn't. Earl did. That's why I'm telling you. I'm just pointing this out, you guys. Earl, he's working on it. I give him full credit for working on trying to change how he do certain things. But the dude is low-key condescending. Yes,
Miss T a hater, shouter. Straight up. She is straight up hater.
Is what I'm saying. Come on, ATL.
You a Spence hater, Miss T. You don't admit it. We weren't even talking about Crawford or Spence. We were talking about.
I just brought that up. Yes, we were. I even said in the beginning, did y'all not?
Why don't you call your man and tell him to goddamn sign the contract so we get this shit over?
Why don't you tell your man to send it? No. Can't sign nothing you can't send.
See what I'm talking about?
He is the big fish, right?
So let me give you an example on that, right? With Devin Haney, right? Mm-hmm. He was telling Gamboso, send a contract. He's the one over the belt, send a contract.
Exactly.
So
I don't agree with that neither.
No. It was true.
No, that's what he did.
Camboso was the one that's supposed to send the contract to Devin Haney. Right. So I'm just saying it's the same thing as Errol Spence and Crawford. I feel like Errol Spence, his team, right? Because he is saying strap season. And this is a 50-50 fight, not in money. I'm just saying, to me, it's a 50-50 fight. But I do got an edge on Bud, just like you got an edge on Spence. But if you want that strap, you got to get the negotiations going on, because it is strap season, and you go by strap season. So that means, by any means necessary, you might have to just buckle down and try to make this fight, even if you don't want it to be a 50-50 in cash or this and that. Because what's the sense of having 3 belts and ain't do shit with it? It's still unifying. Ain't no dispute.
I thought you was talking
about what you're saying.
I thought you was talking about Gamboa and not Camboso.
I hear what you're saying, right? But
you're big fish and you're the A side, then you got to send the contract.
Crawford been waiting on Spence to fight Ugas, right?
Right.
Crawford had no choice but to wait. But go ahead.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
So he beat Ugas, right? Mm-hmm. Why haven't Terrence Crawford sent no contract yet? He had more time to sit back and wait. He said what he was waiting on too, right?
As you guys say, he's not.
That's what he was waiting on too, right?
Who is the A side, as y'all love to talk about? Come on.
But Crawford is
the A side. You trying to answer the question with a question, Missy?
I'm not.
Crawford is a free agent, so I don't know where he's going to have the contract.
I'm just saying, who's supposed to say something about it first? He said, soon as Spence win.
Whose responsibility is it? Don't delegate.
Both of them.
It's not. It's Earl Spence. You can't be the A side.
Oh, now it's Earl Spence. Now Earl Spence, the A side. Is what you telling me?
ATL, be for real.
So you're telling me right now, Miss T, that Earl Spence is the A side? That what you telling me?
I've always said that. Did I not? Did I not? Let's be honest.
Miss T, no, I believe you.
Disagree. I have always said that he had the hardware. If you want to say he the A side, I'll say he the A side. Say
he the A side now.
He been the A side with two belts. Okay, you want me here to say it? Earl Spence is the A side. So send a motherfucking contract and stop ducking.
Ducking. Oh my God.
Because you take it too motherfucking long.
Both of y'all lads taking too goddamn long. Sign the fucking contract.
You can't sign nothing that ain't sent. You'll walk into that wall every time. PGA said Bud had all year to negotiate a deal. Bud is still holding. PGH, you can't have it both ways.
That nigga still in the motion.
Your boy, the A side, PGH, he needs to send the contract. Bud can rebut it, refute it, negotiate, whatever. They can do all this behind closed doors, but Spence need to send that contract.
So who's gonna make the contract for Crawford? Bomac? Crawford's a free agent. He's just waiting for, what it's going to be. Is it going to be a 2-fight deal? If we go neck and neck and it's a draw and then we got to fight again? Is it a 3-fight deal?
Why does it need to be a 2-fight deal? Explain that one.
Rematch? What if the first
rematch for what?
That's all up to Earl.
What if the fight goes neck and neck at the 12 and for the split decision? Then what? What if it's a draw?
Decision, then you ain't got no choice but to fight again.
There you go. So that's a 2-fight deal. I'd rather take that 2-fight deal than take Keith Thurman and then Errol Spence or Boots and then Errol Spence.
I mean, if it happened like that, then it'd be a 2-fight deal anyway. But besides that, Earl got 3 belts. And
2-fight deals win-win. 2-fight deals win-win for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, get their money. The boxers get their bag. You know what I mean? They get their worth out of it. It's a win-win.
One person ain't work as hard as the other person.
Y'all can't have it both ways. That's all I'm saying.
Straight up. If either he win or he win, that's fair. And they have all the belts. Fuck a rematch. Even if Spence lose, fuck a rematch. Crawford got it.
They might not want that. That's up to them. I leave that up to them. And
I say right now, fuck a rematch. If Crawford win, he got all the belts. It is what it is. But that rematch shit, fuck all that new 2022 gay shit. Fuck all that shit. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that word.
I think neither one of them wants to do a rematch.
My bad. I'm sorry, y'all. I have nothing wrong.
They want to drop them shits and run on up to 154. I think both of them got that idea in their mind. I don't think
Spence said it.
Belts.
He said when he beat Crawford ass, he gonna move up to 154.
And Crawford gonna move up to 154 if Earl take too long with this damn
and get his ass beat again up there.
Earl gonna get his ass whooped. I'm sorry.
You see my name. I ain't saying.
I'm sorry to tell you this. He gonna get his ass thoroughly whooped.
You see my name on there.
Put my name on the screen. Just put on Valdez this weekend. Y'all saw that shit?
Put my name on the screen.
Yo, did you see? It's so funny. I saw the after party. I seen what's his name? Shakur Stevenson. I see Crawford, and then next thing you know, I see Mayweather up in there with the money, and they all lined up. Huh?
He said thanks to D-Ray.
I see Mayweather and Crawford and Stevenson hanging out, and they had their differences. Stevenson, listen, I ain't signed to Mayweather because Mayweather wanted his way, and then Bud was like, I ain't signed to Mayweather, but they in the club banging bottles and chilling. So I'm like, hey, this is all about.
They rob. How y'all feel about them robbing my girl Serrano, man?
I think they robbed it too. And it's look, I ain't gonna say rob, man. Serrano won. Katie comported herself well. I think Katie did a lot for. Yes, she did. Yes.
So do you think it deserves a rematch? Because champions
want to see it.
Exactly.
Because I think champions could run it back. I think all champions could run it back, regardless. I think champions.
That was some bullshit.
Yeah.
I think Serrano won I told y'all all that in the beginning of the live. I think she was the better fighter that night. But I will say, Katie Taylor gave me Mayweather vibes. That girl can box.
Man, hell no. I'm not gonna let you do that.
Yeah, but my best fight was Franchon Cruz.
Yeah, she did.
Franchon, we over here.
We love you, girl.
Yeah, we love you. You did your thing, but I'm telling you, look, you know how I'm always talking about them 3-minute rounds.
Hey, if you watching this Franchise Cruz, I love you. I don't give a fuck with your wig, cricket, whatever. I know you still smell like cocoa butter.
Franchise, come up on here and tell us what you think. Let us pick your brain.
For real.
She did her thing, boy. I was thoroughly impressed. They did a lot with 2 minutes. It made me an outlier because I'm always like 3 minutes. Them girls did a lot in 3 minutes.
They was scrappy.
I mean, 2 minutes. Yeah. They really did fight.
I missed that fight.
Serrano, man, she's supposed to be goddamn undisputed too, man. I ain't like this.
He said Amanda decision was Ali smoking Joe. That damn Amanda Serrano. I think why they gave it to her, because Katie Taylor put up the best fight against Amanda Serrano more than
that shit was a DAZN production. That's why she got it.
More than anybody did. I mean,
it was a DAZN production.
Them ladies showed up and showed out, and guess what, ATL? They weren't nearly sold out. They was sold out.
Yeah, they all sold out.
What do y'all think about
they sold out all right.
What do you think about ATL? What do you think about the rounds where Serrano got gas? Like I would say maybe the last 3-4 rounds.
Still, I think she did enough to win the fight. Honestly,
I would agree. I
watched boxing all day that day, and I watched she didn't do nothing but run a couple of shots, here and there, but not enough to say she fucking won. If anything, a fucking draw. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
I only slightly disagree, only because I do feel like she did. I wouldn't say necessarily nothing but run. Here's what I was impressed with. There was a point in that fight where I really felt like it was almost like I almost wanted the ref to stop it, because I was seeing, and I don't know what round I was, like maybe 4th, 5th. There was like a couple rounds where it was just looking terrible. Like I didn't even know how.
On who end?
On Katie's end. I didn't even know how she was standing, bro.
Exactly.
I didn't even know how she was standing. And so then, yeah. But then here's the thing. So she was standing, she was fighting it off. I thought she was gonna fall at any point. But then in the ocean, she pulled out some counters and some good shots. Yes, I do gotta say that. Like it wasn't just like she was just only surviving for dear life. Like she was actually still fighting while she was in that place.
She dug in deep.
She really did. She did. But she still lost to me. She still lost.
Yeah.
And if there was a rematch, I just think Serrano will probably edge it, because she probably wouldn't even take that risk anymore. Because I think
shit.
Do y'all think the rematch should be pay-per-view?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm scared of the rematch because I heard that they wanted to double it.
yeah, I don't want it over there because I think it's gonna be some home cooking.
It was that good. I think it should be on pay-per-view.
It should.
Yeah, it should be pay-per-view. Yeah.
And they should run it back in New York. I think
what y'all think about the Olympian?
Keyshawn?
Yeah.
I think my only problem with him is that when you got somebody in there that don't supposed to be in there with you, if you're going to be Bud S, you need to get him up out of there.
He young, though.
I mean, maybe he wanted the rounds. Fuck all that. Get him up out of there. He ain't supposed to be in
He's
there.
Still learning. You know what I'm saying? But he's going to be a beast.
Let this be his learning lesson. Get him the fuck up out of there, because he should have and he could have. So,
yeah, he looked like he was playing with his food. He looked like he was playing with his food, yo.
With his food. Yeah, I agree.
I feel like he's gonna be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So everybody trying to match him with Frank Martin and Keyshawn Davis. What y'all think about that?
So we want to come back over there?
That nigga's special though, straight up.
Oh.
Davis.
I'm gonna have to do my homework on Frank Martin.
I think
Frank Martin, ain't he on Spence Camp?
Yeah.
That nigga bad. He just fought too, didn't he?
Yeah, he bad too.
Did he just fight this weekend
Yeah,
though, right?
yeah. Well, no, I don't think he fought this weekend. I don't know, but I think he fought recently. I believe
It was another dude that fought out of Spence Camp. He had the strap season shirt on. He knocked dude out in the first round.
You talking about that Latino looking guy?
Nah, he was black, the one who won. But he had a strap season shirt on.
I didn't see him.
Yo, Lady T, I'll get back at you. Yo, it's nice talking to your fellas and everything, man. But I gotta go. I got some business to take care of.
Go ahead and your business.
Yeah. You know, it's always pop business. All right. So I'll talk to you later. All right.
All right, player. All right. Y'all make sure y'all go and subscribe to Caps and FullG. He be dropping that science. He got a point with this VADA thing and everything. He really do got a point. And like I said, we don't want to be sitting here arguing back and forth about this, because this is going to mess up the flowers that we need to give to whichever one of them win. You know, we can't have no ambiguity and whether everybody was on the up and this, that, and the other. You know, I find it funny that people making hay out of the snack thing with, you know, say people love Devin and they don't make hay out of that. And I like Devin. I ain't saying it's in no way bad about Devin. I'm not advocating for snack. I'm not against snack. I don't give a damn either way about snack, but the boxing world accept them. So who cares? You know what I'm saying? If Terrence is with them just so the dude Victor Conte, like Caps was saying, can pay for his full VADA instead of him paying. Hey, that's a smart move. You saving thousands every time you want to go up and fight. But you know, if I was Terrence, you know, or Errol, if I was either one, and I wanted to be sure about some shit, I'll pay for the next nigga's VADA test. I do agree that they need to be tested through the camp, not after the camp, but through the camp, both. And I will pay for it. Shit, it wouldn't be no skin off my teeth. They millionaires. Don't cry about this shit. But like, oh, you worried about the price? You ain't gonna pay for it? Would you do it for free? Now, if a person come back and say, nah, they ain't doing it for free, your eyebrow got to raise on that one and be like, what the fuck? That's what Caps is pointing out, the potential problems that could come with the barrier thing. Now, ATL, I'm gonna ask you this. Caps pointed out something, I don't know if you caught it. That letter that's floating around that everybody want to put up about Errol entering the clean boxing program is written by a lawyer, not none of the scientists, not the official VADA people, saying welcome to the clean body program. And I had pointed out, and I'm not picking, I'm just pointing out facts because inquiring minds want to know, including mine. Why isn't he on the list, ATL? Why? What is WBC? Why are they dropping the ball with Errol Spence? Because
First of all, I ain't heard nothing about that.
I showed y'all the list. I told you I'd be looking for the list. You know I'm looking for that list, dude.
I mean, I remember you doing that a couple of weeks ago, but
I've been waiting on the list, ATL. I really have.
That don't mean nothing right now.
Why it don't mean nothing? The fight is
over.
I'm
going to tell you what list is going on right now.
What list?
Terrence Crawford is on the list.
Errol don't act like it.
About to get his motherfucking ass whipped. That's what's on the list.
D-Ray said, Miss T, question of the day. How many low blows Stevenson land? I think he landed a couple of. I think he did go low a couple of times. Now I'm gonna tell y'all this too. Oh, that sticking of the arm out. I do believe that Kenny Bellis kept warning him.
Cheating, big booty ass.
He should have big booty ass. Big booty Kenny.
Oh, cheating ass nigga. Fuck that nigga, bro.
Kenny got a badunka. He got a but Kenny warned him, and I think the first time he did it, I'm gonna say round 1 or 2 or whatever, first when he started measuring, And Kenny was like, don't do that, don't do that. And then the second round that he did it, and he's like, and it was back-to-back rounds. By the third round of him doing it, I can't tell you in which sequence that came. I'm like, Kenny, at this point, you got to take a point. You got to.
Uh-huh.
Now, would it have changed the outcome of that fight? Hell to the no. I didn't give Valdez not one round. Not one. I think he pitched a perfect shutout. He had a perfect game. If there even a such thing as a perfect game, I think Shakur had a perfect game. But Kenny should have done something to try to change the behavior. And he didn't. And I don't know why.
Yeah. That's a definite, because I feel like and it got to a point where after you let him do it so long, Shakur didn't even care about it no more. Like, it wasn't even like he wasn't paying him no mind. Like,
exactly, you ain't gonna do nothing about it, so I'm gonna keep doing it.
I'm gonna keep doing it.
And
So,
these reps, y'all can't do that. Y'all can't do that, man. You make it bad. To Oscars fans, he gonna say that's the reason. They gonna say that's the reason. It was cheating. It was home cooking. That's what they gonna say.
Mm-hmm.
They gonna disregard the pure boxer that Shakur is. Shakur answered the I know everybody was waiting for him to face some adversity, Lifespeed, but he answered that to me, because when I think about the whooping that Oscar put on Burchell, I was like, that motherfucker a dog, and he had no answer. And so I believe that Shakur is the goods.
Yeah.
He makes his fighters look mediocre.
I think that's where the boxing fans and the casuals differ, because you could be looking at the same thing, but be seeing two different things. And that's one of the best examples. You kind of hear it all the time with the way he makes fighters look. Like, just the way he took away every weapon from that dude. And then just even if you watch the fight back, man, wow, just just how he was peppering him, and just the jab, and just controlling like every aspect of the fight. Like, that must have been hell for Valdez.
And that shit that he said at the end, I don't think it was altogether negative. See, we should be able to say stuff like, I keep hearing this go out in the airways too. The American black typical style of fighting, boxers, the American black fighters, their typical style is hard to beat. It's no different from hearing, Mexican warrior, we got the blood of Mexicans in us. We just better, and da da da. Or UK people saying, we just better, da da da. I'm not upset with no set claiming their strong ways, or their victorious ways, or their warrior ways. You should. I'm not upset with that. I never will I ever. But I don't like when people be upset if black people say the same thing, because it's not like we pulling it out our ass. You know what I'm saying? If it's an up and up fight, and when I say typical black American style fighting, I'm not talking about every black American fighter, because every black American fighter don't adhere to that. They don't adhere to that type of style. But the ones who do, it is very difficult to combat against, because for years, Mexicans, in my opinion, a lot of them, they like to be stationary more, plant their feet, and they like a stationary target. That's and they go balls to walls, but that's what they like. But to me, that's not winning. The whole point of boxing is hit and not get hit, and move around, have an IQ in the ring, and this, that, and the other. Know how to counter punch, know how to capitalize on people's mistake. You gotta be on your toes. And that's what Shakur showed. He won't even really on his toes that night. He beat him being plain, and he made him look mediocre. But a lot of people is not gonna agree with that saying.
Miss T, I'm finna dip out, Miss T. I ain't want to be rude. I've been rude before, but I'm sorry for that. You know what I'm saying?
I will get back at you. I will reach out to him and get back at you.
I love you.
I love you too, man. Thanks for dropping in. What was you gonna say, Lifespeed?
It's getting at that hour too, but yeah, you know, I think why, especially when I watch back a little bit, people can say whatever they want to say about running, but Shakur slips in a high amount of inside shots while he's so-called running. They can ignore that if they want. He ain't just on the back foot just the whole time. He's taking 2 steps back, waiting for you to come in, and it's so calculated that when Valdez is making mistakes, he's hitting with 1, 2, and then step right back out of range. So it's they sleeping on how skillful that boy is, because they want him to I'm glad he's not playing into what media wants him to do, because they would want him to make that mistake. He needs to keep sticking to what he's doing. He's also still young. He's also still growing in power. Like, the boy looked like every time I look at him, I feel like I'm looking at one of my little nephews or something. Like,
he was big as shit, wasn't he?
He's big, but he still, to me, looks like somebody who's still gonna grow a little bit. Like,
yeah,
I don't even think he came into his full man strength yet. Hell no.
Yeah, I don't see it neither. I think he's still growing into it. He was check hooking his ass. I mean, it was just little things he was doing. He was even leaning forward, giving the illusion that he was close, but he wasn't. That's why Oscar, when he did lunge, he was seriously lunging, because it looked like he was close, but he wasn't close, Oscar. And that's why he was countering him. And when that shit was loud as hell. Sorry, y'all. And when he made a mistake, he made him pay. You know what I'm saying?
He did.
So yeah, shout out to Shakur. He barely gave it. I think he fought harder a little bit sometimes when he fought Jamel Herring. Sometimes I was looking at that fight and I was like, he just being plain with Oscar. And what he said at the end, he said with much respect. But Canelo was supposedly have trained Oscar and Reynoso. I was thinking they got all this.
I beat the whole team.
I beat your whole motherfucking team. kind of akin to motherfucking Freddie. What Mayweather said, you might as well call me the golden boy, because I done beat everybody on your squad.
He got a little bit of that Ali in him, where he talk his confidence, and he real unapologetic. Like, I know they really don't like that.
What I would have added was something to the effect of like just I'd have talked more shit. I ain't even gonna say that, because I don't want to start nothing. But I'd have added something. Somebody asked me about what happened in the post fight when they locked him behind closed doors. I think a security guard manhandled his sister, who was underage, which probably prompted his mother to get involved, and he probably manhandled her. And of course, you know, his brothers being the sons of the family, because you know it's 7 boys from what I hear. I don't know if that's including Shakur or 7 in addition to Shakur, and 2 girls. They have a big family. And if you know somebody handle your little sister or your mother, what you gonna do? So I think they jumped. That was what started it. I don't know all the details. I hope everybody was okay. I hope everything got squashed, you know, and everything is everything. And Shakur family remind me sometimes of my family. Hey, you can take the city. You can take the boy out the city, but you can't take the city out the boy.
Hey, but you know what's funny about that? That made me respect it a little bit more. I was like, oh shit, because when you see some of the footage, you see, remind you of your family. Like, everybody throwing in, going down, and trying to make sure everybody okay.
Yeah, and I was at Shakur fight last year with Herring, and let me tell you, I was knee deep over there with his whole family, and yes, you can't take the city. That's the nicest way I'm gonna say it. Y'all know what I mean. The friendly ass civilian was popping, King. Welcome to my show. It's first time up in here. What say you? What you got on it?
How you doing, Queen?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Hey, Miss Tito, I really just wanted to thank you for all the hard work and dedication, and you know, and the content that you put out. You know, I wanted to salute you during the, you know, I guess I'm saying like in between Mother's Day and what was it, like Women's Month or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that, you know, you're a true pioneer and an engineer in this game. So keep doing your thing, bro. You got blessed work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for appreciating it. Thank you all for appreciating it coming up in here. Yogi in the building. She said, hello, Miss T, stopping by to show support. Thank you, Queen. But friendly as civilian. I like that name. Um, thank you for coming in and appreciating what we do. I try to be authentically me and I try to be fair across the board. It doesn't pay me to be unfair, you guys. I'm gonna have my favorites, but I'm gonna live in reality. I ain't capping for nobody. And sometimes, like Caps would be talking about, that's very important what he's talking about because we don't want to. What we don't want is when we finally get what we want, that we don't sit up there and throw a black eye on it. We want to just hand them their flowers. I'm telling you, if Spence beats Bud, I will let you guys come in and cook. Y'all can roast me all that. I'm gonna sit back and listen. It ain't the end of the world. And if anything, Oscar's fight with Shakur should have proved anything. It's not the end of the world, is it? Oscar, as he said, gonna be champion again one day. He even said he not quitting. It's not the end of the world. So why put up these barriers to try to save people?
That's the only thing I don't like. And my thing, again, I ain't trying to come at Mayweather, but that's the only thing I don't like about this era. This whole thing about you so invested in like these perfect records and everything else that it's like you really taking away from your stock because you putting everything all in being perfect out there in the ring. When true boxing fans rock with real, like good boxers, skilled boxers, like, you know what I mean? This is how it goes. Like, look how many fights Porter in recent times, I guess, lost. People still rock with Porter because they like his fighting style. They respect his skills. They still know that they're going to be able to get a good fight. So I feel like, that whole building up the perfect fighter thing, that shit is fucking up.
Well, I think where they get it wrong, Lifespeed, is what God had for Mayweather. For those of you who believe in God, that's just how I talk. So I'm sorry, but I'm not. What God had for Mayweather is what God had for Mayweather. That don't mean that's what he had for you. And it don't mean he's shortchanging you or she's shortchanging you. Should I say that and make it more controversial? But it doesn't mean you're getting shortchanged. It means for him, and he's the sum of his experience and whatever that worked for him, because his personality, his character, his rationale, the way he see things logically is perfect for that square circle. But it's not so perfect as we see outside of that square circle. So it's a blessing and a curse. But for what he chose his career on, it worked for him. He should be able to brag and be happy and shout it from the world because he did something a lot of people haven't done or can't do. And I put more credence into Mayweather's fighting undefeated champions, just fighting undefeated folks, than I do ever in him just having a perfect record. Then but hey, the standing, Mayweather did not build up Rocky Marciano. That was done before Mayweather was a twinkle in his daddy eye. That record was building and ongoing and ongoing and ongoing from that time when Rocky was doing his thing. They made a big to do about it, and then Mayweather broke the record. So, a lot of people keep wanting to be Mayweather, but they don't want to be Pretty Boy. They don't want to be Money Made, and then they don't want to be TBE, and they don't want to understand that them shits come in phases. Like, you got to start low and work your way up. You got to build upon building upon building. You can't just jump right in the middle. And when these boxers realize it, which was for you is for you. It's going to be determined in what you're doing. If you want to be out there coking and joking and drinking and smoking, that's you. That's you. You going to pay for it. He decided not to. You know how hard it is? I'm speaking to y'all guys, so I know y'all know how hard it is to watch all your buddies when you're like 20, 21 out there having fun, smoking weed and throwing a bottle up and doing all the things that young men do. Yeah. You're saying, nah, I can't do it. I got to go to sleep. Nah, I got to do this road work at night. You know how hard that shit is? Same thing for women. But the payoff So he has a right to be happy about his payoff. I think people just get it twisted when they think that's the life they supposed to have. Don't
Yeah,
work like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
And then build your career in a way. Don't shoot yourself in the foot. Don't build your career based on this whole perfection thing. Because
Mm-hmm.
Muhammad Ali, one of the greatest of all time, he came back and won. I mean, you know what I mean, there's been plenty of stars. Because then what
Mm-hmm.
you do is you make the loss the deal breaker. And the reason
Mm-hmm.
why that's stupid, because I look at it, even though, like, so funny thing, if we want to talk about, I don't, you know what I mean, I don't see some of the young fighters that I'm a fan of coming up, you know, losing at this point. But my thing is this: I rock with them greater than that, even if they did lose. I mean, it's hard for me to. I'm 42 years old, so a lot of these young fighters, 20 something years old, it's hard for me to even look at them and hold them fully accountable. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Now I know what you're saying. They're young. They're gonna make mistakes like T.O. T.O. made the mistake. He let that shit get to his head and all that stuff instead of staying focused. That's
Yeah,
hard for a young person to do. I always give young people credence like 25 and under. After 25,
yeah,
nigga, you gonna get this work. You gonna get this motherfucking work like the rest of us. And even
yeah,
once you're over 21, you gonna be held accountable because when you coddle people, you do them a disservice. Nobody coddled me, so don't expect no coddling over here. I don't do
yeah,
that
yeah,
shit. Ain't no rockabye babies over here.
yeah,
So, you're going to get what I got, and I turned out okay. That's how I look at it.
yeah,
So, just that's why I'm into crushing narratives. I feel like I've morphed into a person that like to crush narratives and all that stuff. Like when I tell folks, I said, that person ain't the boss when you spending somebody's money. I noticed that people are saying that. I ain't going to say it's just because of me, because I don't think I'm the only one that said that, but I remember that I was saying it a lot when nobody else was saying it. But I had to say it because that starts arguments. When
yeah.
you build somebody up, the higher you put them, the longer they will fall and see everybody on the way down. But you know what? You don't go through that even when you lose if you were properly assessed, and properly given the right value. In other words, so like if you're a boss, then you should have been the boss all the way around. If
Mm.
you're not the boss, stop saying that shit.
Stop all that.
If
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not the
Nah, I get, yeah.
the
Nah, I
highest
get it. I mean, I
paid,
think that's what all of y'all doing. I
yeah.
mean, the shows that I rock with, that I respect,
Mm-hmm.
that's what y'all do. Clear the air, clear the smoke, so that, and it's not always about being right and all that, but really
Yeah,
just
we
clear
don't
the
have
air,
to
clear the
have no
smoke, so we
arguments.
can have some real conversations and
We don't
stop.
have to have no arguments.
Yeah,
So we over the 2 minute, we going into the 3 minute. Thank y'all for coming in.
yeah.
But friendly ass civilian, you got anything else you want to add on the player?
Yes, ma'am. I have one question for you. Now I seen Bud, Shakur, and Mayweather. They was hanging out. Now I like to play chess, right? You got the white pieces and the black pieces. The good or the bad? Which queen is Mayweather and Shakur?
Which
Are
one?
they? Yeah.
I think they all. I think Mayweather knows that Bud is his own man, and I think Bud and Mayweather have gotten along just fine all these years. Bud probably, whatever people are starting to glean from Mayweather that they don't like, Bud probably peeped that long time ago, and he probably assessed that it's best for us to just be in our own lane and be our own man. And Floyd ain't got he can't do nothing but respect it, and I think they just respect each other for
Yeah,
being the men that they are because both of them are alphas, and you just
yep.
can't mix no alphas. Shakur is a young alpha too. You can't mix no alpha, and think ain't nothing gonna pop off crazy. You can't even do that with women. You know what I'm saying? And Floyd is a serious alpha. So
Oh,
any man that come around him better think about that shit when they trying to parlay with that man. Ain't nothing
I
wrong with
totally agree, and that I feel like that picture kind of reflects all of that, like,
it. Mm-hmm.
because I think Stevenson got a lot of that in him.
He do, but he understands OGs, and so do Bud. And you can see Bud. I ain't gonna say capitulate, but he understands that Floyd is the OG. You can see
right.
that in their relationship. And even when like remember that time when Rolly was popping off at the gums at one of them fights, he called Floyd.
And
You know,
told Roller he was gonna answer too. That's
yeah, and he could have. Bud ain't got to call Floyd. He could have handled that himself, but he called Floyd. That's showing respect. Yo, man, get your son out here. You know, he acting a donkey right now. So
Right.
as long as they show each other respect, they'll be good. And if Floyd can ask them all day long, hey, sign with me, they're not going to do it because it's the alpha aspect of it all. And Floyd going to be Floyd. And they need to know that no matter what you say, how much you cry, what letter you write, Floyd going to be Floyd. So enter at your own risk. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is. But Friendly, if you don't have nothing extra to add, give us your closing thoughts.
God bless. Everybody subscribe, like, and share. Appreciate you.
Most definitely. Don't be afraid to come through. Come through anytime you want, Friendly. Even if you disagree with me. Anybody who disagree with me, you guys can come through. As you see, I'll let you get your rocks off. Lifespeed. What you got on your closing thoughts?
No. You know, as always, you was cooking. It was a good show. You know what I mean, keep pushing, promoting, putting that female boxing perspective, you know, in the perspective for people. Yeah, they was good fights. I like the fact that like everyone loves a good chess match, so it wasn't just rock'em sock'em robots. And I think that's just how you change the narrative. You know, you got Clarissa Shields out there speaking, you know, Layla Ali and the crowd. So I think people's putting an eye on it, and they got the right representatives. So, you know, big ups to women's boxing, and that's me just coming from, because I ain't gonna, like, I'll be fronting if I act like, oh, I'm pulling up watching, you know, a lot of women's boxing matches, because it's more so I just follow a bunch of fighters. I follow Clarissa, I follow Layla Ali over the years, and Frazier and different people. But no, it's good to see it happen, and those was good fights.
Yeah,
and then, you know, everything and all that, the legacy, seeing Shakur doing this thing, man, that was all real good to see. Seeing Keyshawn and the success. So yeah, keep cooking. You know, we support at Lightspeed.
Oh yeah, thank you. And I agree. Only thing I would suggest that Deontay's of the world, the Earl Spence of the world, any fighter that's not in the fight themselves or preoccupied, line up that front rows and show your support when a main event card come on, like we just had this weekend with the ladies. Show the world, lead by example. That's all we can ask. I'm not mad. You know, I couldn't bear to watch MMA, and I'm coming around to it, but I'm starting with Bellator. And I even told, like, DJ, I was like, yo, I could take the 3 rounds. I'm not quite at 5 rounds. It's hard for me to watch somebody get stomped in the head or kneed in the head and shit. That's hard for me to relate to, because I don't see, it's hard for me to take it as a sport. It comes off vulgar to me and makes me sick to my stomach a little, but I'm trying. So just like I'm trying, I'm not mad at any man to say, I don't like to see women going at each other like that and this, that, and the other. All we can ask is that you try. I'm never mad at that, because what you can take is what you can take. But I do think the path going forward, if we want to elevate women's boxing or to get some shine on them so that they can start making money, so that can be their primary job and them not holding down a 9 to 5 and boxing, which you can't serve two masters. So one of them got to reign supreme. Then we're going to have you guys show up at these fights and support them in that way. We're going to have Judge Mathis and Denzel and all them show up to the fights. But at the same time, ladies, y'all better use these 2 fights that happened between Franchon Cruz Dezern and Ellen Cederos and Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. Use those 2 fights as a prototype of what a boxing fan wants to see. We saw plans, we saw strategy, we saw different tools from the tool bag. We didn't see rock'em sock'em. Let that be a lesson for all female fighters. A hint to the wise should be sufficient. Also, take note that New York is your place, not Vegas, not Atlanta, not California, not yet anyway. New York is your place. So hold your events there, because it's so versatile. you can sell out. You can get more support. And eventually this shit will catch on. It's gonna be a slow walk, but you gotta be willing to take the journey. And y'all gotta do it collectively. So that's what I pray. Franchon Cruz, hey, I'm gonna try to reach out to you. I hope you come on the show. Girl, we so proud of you. That was the best fight this Saturday night. Even though Shakur put on a masterful clinic. Amanda did wonderful. Katie did wonderful. You know, Sedaris, you did wonderful. The guys, Keyshawn, all of y'all. It was a boxers weekend. Boxing fans won this weekend. So thank y'all for joining in and coming through watching. Y'all know where I'm about to mosey on over to. And remember, guys, when you know better, you do better. Peace out.